I'm Christine Lisi. Running back Jonathan Taylor's left Colts training camp to continue rehabbing his ankle injury off-site, reports ESPN's Stephen Holder. Taylor, on the PUP list, has been in a standoff with the team over a lack of a contract extension. He's asked for a trade, which owner Jim Irsay has rejected. The Saints expected to sign running back Kareem Hunt and linebacker Anthony Barr pending physicals, according to ESPN's Diana Rossini. Because of injuries and starting running back Alvin Kamara's 3-game suspension to start the season, Hunt and Barr provide needed depth at both positions for New Orleans. ESPN radio host Harry Douglas.
Kareem Hunt, I think this is a tremendous signing. You're bringing in a guy that can not only be a rusher, but a receiver out of the backfield. So I think that's the thinking there when you look at that organization. Anthony Barr, a guy that can, play the linebacker position, be a rush guy, play in space, move around very, very well. Even though he's a bit older, he still can play at a very high level.
Harry Douglas on ESPN Radio Afternoons. Major League Baseball playoffs start October 3rd with the Wild Card Series. World Series begins October 27th.
You don't need special gadgets to be a hero. With unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, everywhere, the Capital One Quicksilver Card makes you the hero of every purchase. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat each and every day. Don't forget, still got some time to get in on the fantasy draft contest. Also, the battle for the belt. That's the big push right now. You're going to be hearing the promos here on ESPN Asheville routinely over the next few weeks.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of my voice. Everybody always says, hey, when are you going to develop that radio voice that I hear out of other people? I'm not. As time goes on, heater after heater, it just gets more gravelly and angry.
Battle for the belt contest signups are live. And you can go to the description of the YouTube video. You can also go to our social medias to find all of the links. And, of course, on the front page of thesportsocracy.com, we've got the QR codes posted and the links to follow so you can get in on this year's Battle for the Belt. 2 different contests, 2 different belts. There will
Somebody
be 2.
could, in theory, walk out of this looking like old tribal chief or whatever Paul Heyman's buddy's name is, carrying both belts at the same time.
Could possibly be. Michael Meadows was our champion of the standard DFS weekly game last season, and so we'll have the standard contest again in which Michael will defend his title, but we also have the Eliminator Challenge. It is the brainchild of Flostradamus Jeremy Greene, the Ginger
I just like
Ninja.
making things hard.
Yeah, he's... Wow. Somebody clip that for me. I need that for later on.
What are you, 6 years old?
I am indeed. So sign up for the Battle for the Belt. All the proceeds going to Eblin Charity St. Nicholas Project. Just like they did last year, we were able to give them a sizable donation on behalf of the Sportsocracy and the House of Reprehensibles last year, and we want to do even more this year. So support a great cause, support the kids in our area, making sure that they have gifts under the tree at Christmas.
This is also one time that you can legally write off playing fantasy football.
Never thought of that.
My wife pointed that out to me last night.
Not
I did not
just a
think
hat
of that.
rack.
Yeah. So we'll explain the intricacies of the Eliminator, and we'll refresh you on the rules. That'll be Thursday.
That's right.
In the Fantasy Football Quarter Marathon Spectacular.
Noon until 6 p.m. this Thursday. We will be wall-to-wall with coverage of your fantasy football season, mock drafts. We'll have rankings. We'll have strategies. We'll answer all your football questions. And, of course, it will all be solely on the YouTube stream, so it will be completely uncensored.
And I could be the same color as our logo because I will be spending tomorrow at Panthers camp with the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets.
That is right. And I want to go ahead and get this out before we get into other things. Tomorrow, we will not have a program. Jeremy and his father are going down to Spartanburg to the Panthers camp with the New York Jets joint practices.
Papa Greene has only seen the New York Jets in live person twice, I think, in his entire life.
Really?
Yeah, this
Wow.
will be 3.
That's awesome.
And so
I'm glad you guys get to share that
Well,
together.
I texted him earlier and I said, "Are you in a hurry?" And you'll explain in a minute.
Right.
I'm at your behest. Whatever you want to do. You have access that you have never had before. So whatever you want to do.
Right. And tomorrow afternoon, I will not be here because they got to take my wife to a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So just prayer warriors out there, say a little prayer for us. We need some good news in the medical side of things. So tomorrow will be a wash for us here on ESPN Asheville. Thursday will be Atlanta Braves baseball, but we'll make it up to you by giving you the quarter marathon, 6 hours of nonstop. Well, I mean, it's 6 hours, so we'll stop after 6 hours of fantasy football answers, questions, strategies, mock drafts, all of that right here in the Sportsocracy. Today is a Power Rankings Tuesday.
And we felt PFF put out their rankings of the best rosters in the NFL, and we felt like this would be a great time to rehash something that we did roughly a year and a half ago. The state of every NFL franchise.
Absolutely. This is going down the most important categories of making a franchise run, right? We got
This is your owner.
Yep.
This is your front office. This is the current state of your front office. So there are some younger GMs. You'll see one with our first team here momentarily. Your coach, rookie head coaches don't know exactly what they are, so they're pushed down. Your quarterback, which is their contract and their talent, and the overall talent of your roster. And we have ranked every NFL franchise from 1 to 32.
1 to 32 in every category. Obviously, the lower score is going to win here because we total up all of your rankings and then come up with the composite score. So the lower score wins, just like in golf.
Yep, and one team got an 11, which is really low considering our first team was over 140 because they're really bad, and you will find...
Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
And that is the Arizona Cardinals.
Ooh, man, this was, a
Did
year
it
and a
shock
half,
you?
2 years ago,
They were
dubbed
7.
by one Jeremy Greene, the best team in the NFC.
Well, here's the thing.
And then it all crumbled.
I believed for a minute, and then I realized, oh, no, wait, this is a house of cards. But I'm bummed.
Yeah.
Because, look, you're just not good. I mean, the highest rated thing on this team is the front office, and you have a rookie GM. He made one of the great fleece trades in NFL history, and that is the best thing and the only thing going for your franchise right now. Arizona is bad. And when you factor in the contract and the play that you expect to get out of your quarterback, they're dead last in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because you're paying top-end quarterback money and getting Colton Ebenezer McCoy.
Look, the Cardinals have 2 first-round picks next year that belong to 2 of the worst teams in the NFL.
Themselves and the Houston Texans.
Yes, there are only, I think, 2, maybe 3 teams that can break up that party from them having 1 and 2.
They will have 2 picks in the top 5. I said on draft night they will have the first and second pick in the draft. That can change your whole franchise. Mm-hmm. Now, are you going to get back to 7 where you were a year and a half ago when we did this? No, that's not coming. But I did see enough out of that one trade to go, okay, you could end up with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., just like Rob Johnson just said in our YouTube comments. Mm-hmm. That changes a lot. Or you could trade them both and have 4 years worth of picks.
They'll keep one. I believe they'll keep one. They'll draft Marvin Harrison.
Just remember where you heard this. I'm not 100% sure you're accurate.
Really?
If this season goes the way I think it will, there's a great chance they're going to have 1 and 2, and I'm not sure that any team could bypass the bounty that they would get for those two. Even though Kyler Murray's a bit of a head case, getting off the money, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look what Seattle did with Russell Wilson. These 2 picks are worth exponentially more than he was or ever will be.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been some rumblings in league circles that they could possibly trade them both.
Now, I wouldn't. I don't think that's out of the question.
I don't either.
At all.
Because there's a possibility with how good next year's class is that you could get Marvin Harrison and Alt, the left tackle from Notre Dame. I mean, there are a lot of players in this class.
When you have 1 and 2, you control the draft, and there are going to be more than one. There will be more than one team that needs a quarterback right there. Staring straight at my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Las Vegas Raiders, who will be in that, could be in that scenario.
And Joshua Penix, who said, as a Cards fan, at least the young guys are playing well. That's one thing to look at. And here's the other thing to look at. The last time we did this, the team that was 32 was the Detroit Lions. 31 was the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Things change quickly in this league.
Yeah, how the fortunes of those teams have changed. So the Cardinals come in at number 32. Number 31, it's the Houston Texans, right?
You would have thought that, and I would have thought that, but it's not.
Not so fast, my friend.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders coming in at number 31, just barely edging out the team in front of them.
Yeah, you know what the difference is? They have a young signal caller. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
They have a young, I believe, up-and-coming head coach. You don't. I know what your coach is. I generously said he was the 4th worst coach in the league because there's 3 rookies behind him. I'd take D'Amico Ryans right now over him.
Mm-hmm. There is nothing that the Raiders have going for them other than their stadium. Like, that's the only thing.
Owner's bad. Front office is historically bad. In terms of drafting. Now, that was Mayock, who has now moved on, but I don't feel much better about Dolph Ziggler right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your coach is bad. You're paying high-end quarterback money, and I'm not even sure that guy's going to be on the field, and there's nothing behind him.
Yep.
The roster is fine. It's middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
We put it at 22.
Mm-hmm.
PFF put it at 22. There's not a lot to jump up and down about right now.
No. This is going to be, I think, a terrible, terrible season for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think this might be one of those scenarios where I was, a year too early.
If you had any other coach, I would say you're too hard on them. But I don't buy Josh McDaniels. Everything in this franchise seems to be just paddling in a great big circle. But this is another team that, you give it a year. You wind up with Drake May. You wind up with Caleb Williams. And weird, now you're looking at a roster with Caleb Williams throwing to Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you see that's better?
Yeah.
That's how quick it can turn around.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at their schedule this year, and they only play maybe 2 or 3 teams that I think they're at least at level with, or they're a little more talented than that other team. Every other team beats you in the talent market, and every other team will drag you down the sidewalk in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be pretty for Las Vegas Raiders fans, and I don't know that it's going to change anytime soon.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's what I love about this metric that we use is that ownership and all of those things, you're stuck with that. That's where it's going to be. So those things hurt you more than a lot of other things do.
Mm-hmm. At number 30.
Now, this is where you get that team that I thought was going to be 32, the Houston Texans.
The only thing that shot them up, by the way, 1 point ahead of the Las Vegas Raiders was the fact that they just drafted C.J. Stroud.
So you have a really cheap quarterback that could very well be good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, we put Bryce Young at 12, C.J. Stroud at 13, Anthony Richardson at 14. Because even if they're not great, they're cheap.
Yep.
And I will give you the same point of reference that I gave earlier. Because you argued for Kirk Cousins being higher. Kirk Cousins makes 6 times more money than Bryce Young does. Is he 6 times the quarterback?
No.
Then he can't be ahead of him.
That makes sense. Makes all the sense in the world. Houston Texans, they gave up their number 1 pick next year, their first-round pick next year.
And there's a lot of hubris coming from their fans that I don't get.
Well, it's because they're listening to choice voices in the sports media. Colin Cowherd is number 1. I don't think I've heard Colin Cowherd talk about the Houston Texans in this offseason once where he didn't say, this is going to be a team that wins 7 to 9 games. And I can't even kind of figure out how he gets down that path.
They couldn't win 9 games in the XFL. They ain't winning 9 games in the NFL.
I mean, I like DeMeco Ryans, and I think he's going to be an excellent coach in this league. And you have a couple of pieces on this roster that I go, okay, I mean, those aren't bad.
Yeah, your high side is good. I mean, you got Laramie Tunsil, who I think is a top 5 tackle in the league. Couple young pieces. I really like Jalen Petrie last year. I'm not sure Derek Stingley can be any worse than he was last year. And Will Anderson's a very good pass rusher. You start getting into the teens, and all right, point of comparison. Name me a team that you think is really solid to win 8-9 games this year.
The Giants.
The 11th best player for the New York Giants is probably Darren Waller. The 11th best player for the Houston Texans is someone you've never heard of.
Is Noah
Sheldon
Brown.
Rankins.
There you go.
Let's
Sheldon
go.
Rankins, that's a good
Who
one.
was the 4th defensive tackle for the Jets last year? So, look, the fact that you're drafting well, that's fine. Overall talent is worse. This is the worst roster I've ever seen. It is only fractionally better than last year. And people say, but they were competitive. Yeah, because most teams in the NFL don't just get boat raced because you still have 53 pros on your roster. All right, this is not like Alabama playing Vanderbilt. There's a big difference between those two things. It's a terrible roster. It's a terrible franchise. And it's going to be exploded in roughly 6 months. And everyone that currently says, I work for the Houston Texans, is eventually going to say, thank you for stopping at McDonald's. Can I supersize your order today? Sure.
If you're just tuning in with us, it is a Power Rankings Tuesday, and this is the power ranking of all power rankings. We're taking everything important to winning in the NFL into account and come up with your composite future score for your franchise. And so far, it's the Arizona Cardinals, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Houston Texans as the most devoid of talent across the board.
And when we come back from the break, there will be a team that is near and dear to one of our hearts. And secret time, his name rhymes with stank.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblin Charity's St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV. respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This is my Carolina Panthers bobblehead, my 04 NFC Championship jersey, and my Panthers scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Whoa, you could win $200,000 and even 4 season tickets to the Panthers Vault? Why haven't you scratched it?
It's in mint condition.
New Panthers Scratch-Offs. Enter to win season tickets to the Vault, a field-level premium seating experience. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.23. Carolina Panthers is a registered trademark of Panthers Football, LLC. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Every day you breathe in thousands of tiny little germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Dan, a verified Navage user who writes, I've had trouble with my sinuses for decades. I always thought something like this was a gimmick, but one use and I'm hooked. I should have bought this a long time ago. The results are immediate and incredible." Unquote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
The Sportsocracy.
This is G. Degarov, voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
Welcome back into a Power Rankings Tuesday. Looking at your ownership, your front office, your coach, talent on the roster. What else?
Oh, let's see. It's your front office, your coach, your quarterback, your overall talent, and your owner.
There you go. Taking all of those into account. We ranked them, every team in the NFL, by each one of those categories to come up with your overall franchise State of the Union score. Worst in the league, it's the Cardinals, Raiders, Texans, followed closely by
the first team I've ever seen put out their initial depth chart, and their starting quarterback is the Tampa Baker Buccaneers.
Yeah.
My, how the mighty have fallen.
Look, we knew this was coming. We knew as soon as Tom Brady left this team, they were going to be in teetotal hell. And that's exactly where they find themselves. Still have a lot of Super Bowl winners left on this roster. The problem is you don't have the signal caller.
You've got some Super Bowl winners left. I after I saw that initial depth chart, I started really looking at your roster going, for as bad as I think you are, which is 6-7 wins, you better pray to whoever you pray to that injuries do not befall you. That is one of the worst second units I've ever seen. Well, preseason, you will get demolished by any team in the NFL.
Well, because you spent so much money on the starters, you've got so many high-end contracts, guys getting money like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and hell, you're giving Russell Gage $10 million a year, and Ryan Jensen and Shaq Barrett, and you've stacked up all of these major guys or major money guys on the starting roster. You don't have money for anybody else. You got rookies and a whole bunch of dudes you've never heard of on the second string of this team. It's going to be a terrible year, guys. I keep trying to tell all of my Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan friends, this is not going to be pretty.
Awful.
Todd Bowles is probably the worst coach in the NFL.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And there's no getting around that. The guy had Tom Brady last year and could only win 8 games.
It's bad.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Yet this is still a franchise that believes they have a chance to contend.
Dirt Bikes and Disc Golf said he's going to the Steelers-Bucks preseason game this weekend.
Okay.
Hopefully Baker does it Baker, but
he's gonna.
I'm not sure he's actually the starter.
He's not.
And I told you, we talked about this for a long time today. I did not think you could go into the season with Kyle Trask as the starter because I don't know how you're supposed to sell that to the fan base. I also don't know how you sell it to the fan base with how bad Baker has been.
You cannot. I mean, you're not going to sell it any other way. This is a franchise that is split, and I don't even think it's split 50-50. I honestly believe we in Buccaneers Nation are 70-30 going, we want Kyle Trask to be the starter. Baker's terrible. He's only proved it in training camp. The only reason that you give him the start is because of the name.
You ran 24 pass plays in the morning session of training camp this morning. 5 of them ended up in interceptions.
Yep.
That's over 20%.
Yep.
That is horror awful. And it ain't the first time.
No, it's not. Baker's been an interception machine in training camp. And Kyle Trask has been a little better, but not by much. It's a terrible team. Terrible team. I don't really want to talk about him anymore. Let's move on to number 28.
The Indianapolis Colts. Your owner is a train wreck. He's a big fan of snow showers and domestic lights and tweeting things. And now your star running back has left your camp to rehab his shoulder on his own.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot really to cling on to here, except for the fact you do have a young quarterback. You do have – I really like Chris Ballard, and I always have. I'm just not sure that you're not starting to see more of who he is as opposed to who he was.
Mm-hmm.
He had some home runs. There haven't been as many of those in recent years. It's been a lot of walking away from draft classes going,
It might work. Could be.
I mean, and look, I like Josh Downs. There's been a lot of positive about him. I'm just not. I'm not sure where all these things fall in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what this team is. I know you have a train wreck of an owner. You have a first-year head coach. You have probably the rawest quarterback I've ever seen go in the top 10 of a draft. And your star player is at home rehabbing himself.
Yeah. Minus a number one wide receiver. I mean, I feel like this offense looks like a team, at least on paper, that could be good.
Michael Pittman's shade will not be tolerated here. Michael Pittman's
He's
a
not
dog.
A one. He's not a. I don't feel like.
Is he a top 32 receiver in the NFL?
Okay. Yes. Fine.
We have this argument a lot, and it always seems to center on Michael Pittman. And I would think you would be overly nice to him because his dad won you a Super Bowl. So,
and I love him for that. I get it, but I don't feel like he's a true number one. Is he one of the most talented? Is he on the team? Yes. Okay. Whatever. But there are a lot of teams that don't even have number ones, that don't even qualify in that. We're talking about like the New York Giants.
Common sense ain't common in the YouTube comments. Said Michael Pittman's a 1B. I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I can get down with
That's kind of my point.
That's fine.
He's not a true one. He's a 2. And if you had, I don't know, somebody else.
Fact or fiction, with a better quarterback, he would be a top 20 receiver in the NFL.
Maybe.
He wound up with the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's always been my point of, if you could name me the great receiver that's been fantastic with Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers and Gardner Minshew,
right?
I am here to listen to it. I can't name that guy.
But I look at this team, at least the offense. I look at the offense and I go, that does kind of look like pre-A.J. Brown Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
It's built pretty much the same way. So I think there is some future here with Indianapolis. You're going to have to improve the defense.
It's not this year.
No.
And everybody's going to have to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to know. Look, Indianapolis is telling you. I can't remember now who it was, but somebody commented out that Gardner Minshew is going to start 17 games for the Colts. No, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets to 4, I'll be shocked.
And I hope you can turn this thing into a winner before Shaq Leonard retires.
Well, he's only 26 years old.
He's 28.
So, okay.
He's 28, so you got 5 years. I feel like that's plenty of time to grow. Like, by the time of the end of the 5-year extension.
If I was looking into my crystal ball of the team that's going to win a lot more games in 2024 than they win in 23, Indianapolis would be really high on that list.
That's fair.
You need to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
You need to catch one of those sweetheart schedules where you play the dregs of every division. You're not gonna, but it's because you got the Texans in your division.
All right, it's 3:30. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the franchise power rankings here on a Power Rankings Tuesday in the Sportsocracy.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Very different weather picture tonight. Just a stray storm in the mountains tonight, not the widespread heavy downpours and active weather that we had last night. 62 degrees in the valley tonight, even some 50s with higher elevations tonight. A little taste of fall tonight with lower humidity. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 85 degrees. Stray thunderstorms on Thursday, high near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy Friday, 85. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey DQ fans, the Caramel Fudge Cheesecake Blizzard treat has arrived. It's so wonderful that you won't want to miss out. Indulge your cheesecake cravings and get a heaping helping of fudge and caramel too. Try it today, only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Tired of living with joint pain? Now there's a better, natural solution. Call QC Kinetics. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. QC Kinetics. Consultation is free. 828-333-9517. With locations in Asheville and Greeneville.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
Chicken
a Frosty.
Sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty. Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
To start the season, spray away stress. Get rid of grime. Clear the nerves. Do away with dirt and doubt. And lose the germs. For less worry and more wins. When you get to a clean slate, the possibilities are endless. Clorox. Start clean. Always use products as directed.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We're coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. It's time to get just a bit outside, and let's go to the world of baseball, where this story just took off yesterday. Kevin Brown.
I know what this is.
Kevin Brown. If you don't know the name, haven't heard the story yet, Kevin Brown is the play-by-play announcer for the Baltimore Orioles. He worked on their regional network there, Masson TV. And on July the 23rd, that was the last time he called one of the games on television. he just mysteriously disappeared from the broadcasts. Hasn't been back since. Finally, the question was asked, I guess, of what happened to Kevin Brown, and someone, I guess, within the organization said that he had been suspended indefinitely. When they went trying to trace back what occurred to cause this suspension, did he have one of those like Castellanos moments? Did he did he have an A's broadcaster slip up? Nope, not that. Apparently, well, they don't like him telling the truth, or at least the owners don't like him telling the truth about the team, because they traced it back to July the 23rd and to a spot where he was talking about how god-awful this franchise has been against the Tampa Bay Rays down at the Trop. And he went over all the stats from the last 16 series, saying that they were 0-15-1. The last time that they had got a win was in 2017, and just went on and on about how, just stating facts. He didn't even riff on it. He didn't say
every
anything
one of those
offensive.
things is true.
Right. He didn't say anything offensive about how, the management of the team or the ownership of the team. None of that. He gave straight facts. And the ownership of the team apparently did not like that. Now, since all of this has happened, reporters have been asking for the front office for a statement on this, and they finally gave one. And they said, well, we're not going to tell you why Kevin Brown's not here, but we could tell you it's not because he was stating facts on the July 23rd broadcast. Now, I don't know if there's anything else. Right, exactly. Tell us why. We don't comment on personnel matters.
Maybe you should.
Well, I mean,
because right now you look awful in this.
Absolutely. And Peter Angelos has been taking all this heat for all these years from the Baltimore Orioles fans, and to the point where they have now had to ban signs from the stadium for their next upcoming game that have any combination of words saying Angelos, sell, move the team, just all of these things. Like, this is a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire, and I can't believe that you are this thin-skinned.
And this is a great time for me to break out a phrase that I am really fond of, and I don't get to say much because we don't talk about this sport, because
baseball.
Which is in the same vein of what I'm going to say at the end of this story. I have said many times now that Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy are the same dude. One of them just likes complex carbohydrates much more than the other one does. In this single offseason, we've already had Sean Payton apparently not take off his Fox hat and go after the New York Jets, Nathaniel Hackett, and the previous regime that he took over for in Denver. And now, he's really laying down the law about how things are supposed to go in the preseason. So he told the media he has 4 rules for players in preseason games after they come out of the game. I've never heard any of these.
Dip, dodge, duck, and dive.
Yeah, that would actually be better than what he gave. Number 1, players must completely take off their uniforms after they're done playing. So once you're done, you have to take it all off, I guess, so we don't get the confusion of who's going back at the game. I don't get why that's a rule, but okay. That one doesn't bother me that much. Number 2, players are under no circumstances allowed to wear sunglasses.
Okay.
For why? What if the sun's in your face? So I just have to sit here and let the sun burn out my retinas for what purpose?
It gives you that Clint Eastwood desert stare.
Number 3, bucket hats, or as Sean Payton calls them, Gilligan hats, are strictly forbidden. I actually don't mind that one because no grown man should wear one of those. Unless they're at the beach and they burn easily.
Sean only allows visors.
4, players, regardless of status, are not allowed to take interviews during the game. So if the sideline reporter wants to come over and talk to somebody, no.
Nope.
Now, he was asked why these were rules. he would give no explanation whatsoever.
He doesn't have to.
Okay, elaborate on that.
I mean, he's the coach. He's the coach. He's the de facto GM. He's running the show here.
And that's fine.
My way or the highway.
Yeah, that what you just said, that's going to be his downfall. You mark my words.
Maybe.
I've read this book before of things go sideways, and you have the loosey-goosey coach that lets the quarterback have his own office and then you bring in the disciplinarian. Yeah, you know what tends to happen? The disciplinarian gets run out of town too, and then they figure out, oh, you know what? There's something in the middle of that, and that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Every passing day, I become more convinced that Sean Payton is going to eviscerate his legacy in Denver.
Really?
I hate that roster top to bottom.
But why?
Hate it.
Just because it's a bunch of yeah buts?
It's a whole lot of Pat Surtain. And then what do we do well? Oh, not much. And we're in the AFC, which is evil. Okay. But yeah, bucket hats. That's your problem.
Got to set the culture.
Ugh. Never been happier I said no in my entire life.
Ooh, speaking of setting culture, let's get back to the power rankings, the futures, the state of all 32 NFL teams, ranking them by all the most important categories from ownership down to your quarterback. At number 27,
the Washington Commanders.
Oh, Ron Rivera. He's just, he's a culture setter.
Look, I want to like Ron Rivera better than I do.
Uh-huh.
And then he does things like he did today, which is throw Eric Bieniemy directly under the bus.
Absolutely. Eric Bieniemy, who has all of the criticism against him about he doesn't do well with some players, and there have been a lot of players that he's been standoffish with, and blah, 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 blah. Well, now he's in a new place in Washington, and it's all started again. Ron Rivera already smelling blood in the water that they brought Eric Bieniemy in to take his job, so he's throwing Eric. Yeah, this is my tinfoil hat moment. Eric Bieniemy, he says that some of the players are, quote, a little concerned about Eric Bieniemy's level of intensity in training camp. He told this to the media, that he's had to tell players, hey, why don't you just go talk to Eric, and maybe he'll calm down a little bit. I get he's all gung-ho right now, but, he has his own way of doing things. You can just talk to him. But no, now you have players coming to Ron to complain about Eric Bieniemy, and what's worst off is that now he's telling the media this, which is a bad sign.
100%. It's a terrible sign. So in the chat, we're getting eviscerated for having the Commanders this low.
How?
A, it's a mathematical formula. This ain't our opinion, all right? We put in the numbers, it spits it out. That's where it's at. Joey Rises asks, how do those rankings equal 27? Because that's where you fit in the NFL, and then it spits it out at the end. It's an average. You'll notice that the numbers get smaller as we go up. I gave you 15th for your owner. He's been here for 4 seconds. I'm using him with the Sixers to get him this high. Your front office is abysmally bad and has been forever. I don't buy your coach. I think he's got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel. You have a quarterback that's taken that has thrown 19 passes in his career. But then you get the talent. Talent, I think we had you, at 18? You're a mediocre, middle-of-the-pack team in the NFL. It's everything else that bothers me. Now, a year from now, that could be fine. But then you get to the point of Ron Rivera sitting. Eric Bieniemy was a home run for Washington. You've had 17 practices, and you already just chucked him out in front of a moving car.
Yep.
That's a really bad look. That's a horrifically bad. And look, you're here. This is coming from a man who absolutely loves Sam Howell. I think your offense is markedly more talented than other people do. And I think the defense, in the front seven at least, is going to have a bit of a resurgence this year. At the end of the day, I still look at it's going to take a minute for Josh Harris to undo all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
You had the worst owner in professional sports, which made it impossible for you to hire well because people with options didn't want to work for Dan Snyder. It's going to take a minute, but that's how you get this low. That's why we love these rankings, because facts don't care about your feelings. This is just where it is. Washington is in kind of a nebulous spot. Mm-hmm. It's going to get – I'll make this sweeping declaration. Next year when we do this, there'll be 5 spots higher. Period. You see more of Sam Howell only a year down the line, I think you'll be fine. But in terms of franchises in the NFL, what this ranking basically says, if I could coach any team in the NFL, I got 32 job offers at one time. Which one would I take in order?
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait. As we go through this, you name me the one you would take Washington ahead of. If you've got one, I won't argue with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's your opinion. I don't have one because I know the 26 that are coming, and there's not one there.
Speaking of, let's go to number 26. It's the Chicago Bears.
I don't like Justin Fields, and we all know it.
Mm-hmm.
I have long said that I don't necessarily believe he's a great quarterback in the NFL. Now, here's where things kind of change. Your front office just absolutely annihilated the draft because you were able to trade down from 1 to 9, get a ton of future draft capital, and you still got Fields on a rookie deal. A year from now, they're going to win 8 games, minimum.
Mm-hmm.
This is the team I am the heaviest on in the futures market. A, look at the schedule. B, the roster is drastically better. C, it's a second year in a coach that I'm starting to warm to. I don't like hiring defensive coaches.
Really?
I don't.
You're warming to Matt Eberflus.
I'm warming to what he's doing. I'm warming to the fact that he is a defensive coach that took a job with a quarterback that's not a great thrower of the football. All right, I know that will get 100 YouTube comments because every time I say that, it does. He's not a consistently great thrower of the football, but he's a dynamic weapon. So what'd he do? He steered into it. Now I've got 2 high flyers on the outside and DJ Moore and Chase Claypool. Darnell Mooney, who's fast enough but short. So what does that mean? It means Justin Fields is going to be able to run at will. Some people said they would take the Washington job over Chicago. Really? You'd work for the work in progress, which is what Chicago was 2 years ago. Now I believe in Ryan Poles markedly more than I believe in anybody calling shots in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And could I be wrong? Absolutely. Washington is probably the biggest liability I have this year. If they come out in the same team they were last year, egg on face. And I'll have to go, oops.
Yep.
Oopsie poopsie. Got that one wrong.
There's 0 shot Chicago comes out and is the same team they were last year. This will be a better team. I still don't think it's a very good team.
The defense will be better than they were.
You say they're drastically better.
That roster's drastically better.
Okay.
Darnell Mooney was the 1 last year. I could argue he's the 3 right now. Depends on how they feel about Kmet. Or not, or Claypool, I mean. Sorry, I was trying to find a way to get Cole Kmet's name into this.
Well, they should feel like they just want to bury Chase Claypool and that whole deal in the past.
Well,
you gave up a second-round pick.
Which was basically a 1.
It was
terrible.
The first.
I agree with that.
It was absolutely terrible.
I agree with that.
And I wanted to have Ryan Poles higher in the front office rankings, but I couldn't.
I think he did a lot of good things. That Chase Claypool deal was a young GM thinking he could fix everything with one trade.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, he was bidding against himself, and he didn't realize that.
Yep.
I could do that same thing with a lot of GMs. Maybe not that bad, but I still think Chase Claypool is a fine player.
All right. Number 25. It's the Tennessee Titans.
This is one that's going to catch some if you didn't have Mike Vrabel, I can't tell you where you would be. We have him as the 7th best coach in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You're still this low. Because, frankly, the roster is not very good.
No.
You have a first-time GM that it's hard for me to rank, and I love Rand Carthon. Your quarterback situation, you're paying a considerable amount of money for what exactly? I mean, was he 20? Best case scenario, he's 16. And you've used 2 not high-end pieces of draft capital, but a second-day pick and a very early third-day pick on Malik Willis, who may or may not even make the roster.
Right.
And he was actually back in the third, so 2 second-day picks in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You still have a quarterback that we know of. You have an offense that's built to run the ball and possibly the worst offensive line in the league. But DeAndre Hopkins makes it all better.
It is quite funny
Really?
to look at that offensive line and
It's
think
awful.
think about what it was like 3 years ago when Derrick Henry was running for 1,800 yards or whatever, as compared to what it is now.
West Virginia Willie in the YouTube comments said, I have a question. What direction are the Titans trying to move in? Like, what's their plan? I have no idea.
They went out and got DeAndre Hopkins like they're still in the mix for something. And I don't really understand it.
All right, so take out my feelings on the defense because you're higher on it than I am.
Yes.
Even if you think that's a top 5 defense in the NFL,
which is not,
how are you going to score? Your top 2 receivers are DeAndre Hopkins, who's 31 years old, hasn't played a complete season in 2 full years. Okay, let's say I feel good about that. Traylon Burks, that's your 2. You have nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
From there, it's like Nick Westbrook, Akina, and Kyle Phillips. I like Chigakonkwo a lot. This is not a high-flying offense. This is not an offense that I think can routinely score 20 points a week. In the NFL, that ain't going to happen. Jekyll said King Henry. That's how they scored. Not behind that offensive line, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
You could have Barry Sanders and Earl Campbell running behind that line. You'll be lucky to break 1,000 yards. I don't think you understand how bad that offensive line is.
Yep.
They're on their 3rd and 4th tackle as we're sitting here.
And it's only because Mike Vrabel is keeping the guys in line, and he's a hell of a motivator, and he can have this team win more games than their talent says they're supposed to. That's the brightest spot you have right now. Now with Rand Carthon coming on to be the GM, I like your future a little bit better, but you're going to have to load some talent onto this team in the next couple of years if you want to take this division away from the Jacksonville Jaguars anytime soon.
And that's the thing. I now feel like you're 2 years behind the Colts. You're at least 3 years behind the Jaguars. So it's just a rough spot to be in.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Greene on Greene is coming up next. It's time for bangers for the AFC East.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblin Charity's St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
Bachelor Happy Hour, the one and only official Bachelor Nation podcast, is back. Go behind the scenes with your hosts, Bachelor in Paradise Season 7 newlyweds Joe Amabile and Serena Pitt, for real stories about what happens in Bachelor Mansion.
Here on Bachelor Happy Hour, we'll be putting all the guys in the hot seat. We'll have exclusive interviews. We'll be the first to talk to the men. We're going to bring the drama into the house and leave probably brokenhearted.
Listen to Bachelor Happy Hour on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The NFL is back, and your free iHeartRadio app is your home for the NFL Podcast Network with full coverage of all 32 NFL teams. Get in-depth analysis from the pros on Around the NFL. Win bragging rights at this year's draft with tips from the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast and more. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
Have that flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Coffee's for closers only. Get them the money! Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
We continue to count down to the start of the NFL season, going division by division with the best futures in each division. Today, we're to my division, your division, the division of your 2023 Super Bowl champion, New York Jets, the AFC East. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. All right, I'm going to be frank with you. You could give me any name here that's not the New England Patriots, and you could explain it to me in a way that you probably got me to see your way of thinking. The Bills are plus 120. The Jets are plus 270. The Dolphins are plus 300. I don't know how good you are at math, but that makes the Dolphins the best bet because I'm not sure that's not the most talented roster in this division. The problem is that I trust their quarterback about as much as I trust myself around a plate of Taco Bell, which is not much. That's why I weigh 300 pounds. That's the highest odds, and I could get behind it. I just don't trust Tua. So that takes it down to the Bills and the Jets. You're catching no value at plus 120. I think the Bills have regressed. The Jets and the Dolphins have both gotten better, so I don't find that to be a very smart bet. So that means you can call me a homer. You can say whatever you want to, but I'm going with the fighting Jets, Jets at plus 270 to win the AFC East. I did it with the Nuggets. I'm going to do it with the Florida State Seminoles, and I'm going to do it with the New York Jets. I'm going to will it into existence. For more, find us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, love the savings with Ingles, love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Very different weather picture tonight. Just a stray storm in the mountains tonight, not the widespread heavy downpours and active weather that we had last night. 62 degrees in the valley tonight, even some 50s with higher elevations tonight. A little taste of fall tonight with lower humidity. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 85 degrees. Stray thunderstorms on Thursday, high near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy Friday, 85. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows how to save pros time and money. Right now, get 10% off all kitchen cabinet orders of $1,000 or more. Lowe's knows pros. Cashier must apply discount at time of purchase. Discount on cabinet purchase only. Coupon cannot be used with any other discount. Valid 7/27 through 8/9.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty. Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, a 24-pack of Crayola crayons and Marble comp books are just 50 cents each. Pricing may vary in-store and online. NC26, comp books in-store only. School on, save on at Staples.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Some Commanders players concerned about the intensity of new offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy at training camp, and they've approached head coach Ron Rivera about their issues.
A lot of these young guys, they do struggle with certain things, and a lot of you also got to take for where they've been. I mean, guys coming from certain programs are used to it. Guys coming from other programs aren't as much. So, I kind of have to assimilate and get a feel for everybody. Eric has an approach, and it's the way he does things, and he's not going to change, and because he believes in it.
But to that point, Bieniemy said he's always going to be loud, vocal, and demand from his leaders, added he does have his players' backs all the time. Saints needing depth at running back and linebacker, expected to sign running back Kareem Hunt and linebacker Anthony Barr, reports ESPN's Diana Rossini. USC commit cornerback Dakota Fields flipped to Oregon, first recruit to commit to Oregon since the school announced it would leave the Pac-12 for the Big Ten in 2024. Major League Baseball released its 2023 playoff schedule. Starts with the Wild Card Series October 3rd. World Series starts October 27th with Game 7, if necessary, on November 4th.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and we are seen live in the Ingles Studio on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. You get your thoughts in on whatever we're talking about today, which is a Power Rankings Tuesday. We're going over the state of every NFL franchise and where you rank as far as your future is concerned. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean anything because we've been through this before, and as Jeremy said, the last time
it ended less than ideally.
The last time we did this, we had the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars at the bottom of the league. Somehow the Arizona Cardinals were up at like 7.
Yeah,
I think
we're drunk. That's really the only way I can even explain it.
Things can change quickly in the world of the NFL. So just because you may find your team on the bottom of this list right now doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be marred in whatever quagmire you're in for a long time. But we'll continue with that in just a little bit. In the last hour, we brought you the story of Kevin Brown, the Orioles play-by-play guy on Masson TV, who got kicked off the broadcast on July the 20th, or after July the 23rd. And it came out yesterday that he was kicked off because he was highlighting all of the Orioles' failures in recent history against the Tampa Bay Rays.
And one of our loyal reprehensibles,
I'm your huckleberry.
Stephen Tao, said KB was reading from a teleprompter. He didn't even write it or make the graphic. Worst owners in sports. And he's our resident Baltimorean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep, we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than Phoenician. And so I put a lot of credence into that, because had he not mentioned it to us, I'd have never even known about it.
Right. I mean,
I started seeing Kevin Brown on Twitter, and I went, did he used to pitch for the Dodgers?
He did. And the Yankees.
And everybody else.
But no, and while we were at the break, I saw this updated story from the New York Post that was quoting a story in The Athletic that now says multiple sources briefed on the decision to suspend indefinitely Kevin Brown say that the ownership has enacted a new policy mandating that their broadcasters wear only team gear when they're on the air. And that snafu led them to take Brown off of the TV broadcast, put him on the radio broadcast because one of the radio broadcasters broke the new rule. Hey, Peter, I got news for you. Nobody can see you on the radio. Like, I don't understand.
They can see us on the radio.
I mean, they can see me, but that is just that you want to prove that you're the most petty owner in sports, that you don't know what you're doing, and that you own a major league franchise, but you want to look as minor league as possible. You've landed yourself into it in the last couple of days. This team that has done such a great job with the young talent that they have, winning games and being at the top of the American League East. A division that 2 years ago looked unwinnable in the foreseeable future for the Baltimore Orioles. You have now cast a shadow over the entire ending of this season with just dumbassery.
I didn't actually hear anything you just said. Tank has this weird ability that when he gets angry, his voice goes into an octave that only dogs can hear, and it makes me giggle every time because he gets so angry and he gets red-faced, and it's you just want to just tickle it. Like, you're just so angry.
Look, it might be a touchy subject with me. I once had a fight with a GM of a radio station because he told my boss to inform me that we don't wear shorts in Memphis, Tennessee. We're no longer at the beach after I had just moved from Charleston, South Carolina. And my only thing is no one can see us. What about radio do you not get? They call it the theater of the mind for a reason. It irritates me. That
this is also coming from a grown man that wears jerseys to work.
100%.
And
but that's what I was told. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Which is why I come to work wearing my Batman costume at least once a week.
Exactly. Like, I am dressing for the job I want. I wear sports jerseys every day. Lo and behold, this here program.
Yes.
Kind of fits the whole scenario you're going for there.
Silver in our YouTube comment said you kind of went a little Howard Dean style crazy. And you did.
You never know what you're going to get. Here in the Sportsocracy, it's like a box of chocolates that I already ate half of.
I've always thought that was stupid. If you look at the top of the box, you know exactly what you get in a box of chocolates.
What you're going to get.
And you avoid this weird strawberry one with like taffy in
it. Stephen Tao says, side note, I wear shorts every day. Yes, and I did too. From that moment on, I did not step foot in that building, not even in the middle of the ice storm of the year. I wore shorts into that building because screw you, dude.
Yes, they say that there's always that one guy that wears shorts every day. I'm that guy. I'm that guy, Captain Yellow Shirt. I'm that guy.
Yes. All right, let's get back into the Power Rankings here on a Power Rankings Tuesday. This is the state of all 32 NFL franchises. Working our way up the list. We are currently at number 24.
And that team is the Atlanta Falcons. You got one of the best owners in sports, which will preclude you from ever being much lower than this. I think they were 26 last time we did this. The roster is better. I still don't think it's great. Mainly because I keep coming back to your quarterback going, man, he's bad. Yeah, he's not good at footballing. You know the thing you said about dress for the job you want? He should dress like he wants an insurance salesman job. I think he would be better at that than playing quarterback.
No, he's dressing for the job he wants, not the job he's going to have.
Yes, because Desmond Ridder is not particularly good at football. But it's the worst division in football.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's even debatable. And they're going to run the ball a lot. I just don't really know how much I believe in your front office. Because, yeah, you did sign a lot of guys, but really look into that. How many of them did you ever pay for?
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you but so many kudos for that. Look, I think it's a better team.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I keep coming back to, okay, so you're telling me Derek Carr and Bryce Young both with good defenses, are going to lose a division to Desmond Ridder. Yep, and that's where that falls apart like an IKEA side table.
It's not a horrible team that they put together, but I feel a lot about this team the way you feel about my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You better hope there's not an injury.
Yeah, they're real thin.
Because you don't have any depth.
They're really thin.
You went out and got Calais Campbell and David Onyemata and Caden Ellis and guys like that, but you don't have anything behind them.
No. And look, they're fine. I think they're getting better. I really like Arthur Smith, and they run block particularly well. Divine Comedy said their trenches are underrated. I would agree, but you also have to understand why that's the case. All right, this line's been together for 3 years. Last year was the first time it graded that highly. Why? Because they ran the damn ball. And then you just drafted a top 10 running back. So, you're going to run tremendously well. Mm-hmm. If the defense can keep up with you, maybe a playoff team. There's just a lot more questions with Atlanta than there is answers to me.
Let's go to number 23.
Let's ride Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos coming in at number 23. Now, they rank highly in coach.
Well, you're middle of the pack in owner because he's got a bajillion Walmart dollars.
Mm-hmm.
You got a good coach. He's 10. But then you get to quarterback. And, he marries well. He don't play so well. And I don't know that that's going to change.
I still believe he's going to play better than you think he will.
That's okay, better than I think he will. If he puts his pants on and does it in the right direction,
exactly.
He's better than I think he is.
You're talking about Russell Wilson like he's in the same conversation as Baker Mayfield and Desmond Ridder, and that's just patently false.
Baker Mayfield, no. Desmond Ridder,
stop that.
We're getting closer.
Stop that.
He's not in the same category as Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Well, there is one place that he is. How he's paid, which is why he's down here.
Exactly.
Because you're paying name brand prices with great value Walmart production. Here's the thing. You buy off brand because you don't want to pay brand prices.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing both. Congratulations.
And this is a team that they have made big moves. They have brought in some top rated talent. And then
who is that?
Jerry Jeudy.
Oh, yeah.
He was supposed to be the greatest route runner in NFL history. Those words came out of your mouth.
Oh, he's still a great route runner. You see, there's this thing that there's 3 stages of being a receiver, and one of them is catching the damn ball.
Exactly.
And he don't do that so good.
Exactly.
So he can run pristine, beautiful routes.
Right.
The problem is that he got 10 thumbs.
Cortland Sutton made of popsicle sticks. Russell Wilson obviously had his problems last year. Javonte Williams, hurt. Samaje Perine, woohoo. Like, I go down this roster and go, the only guy on the offense, the only couple of guys that I could get excited about on the offense are Quinn Miners, Ben Powers, and Greg Dulcich. Yay! It's just not a very good team.
Look, there will be no Greg Dulcich slander.
No, I said he's one of the few guys to get excited about. I just feel like they have underachieved, and Sean Payton has put the target on his own team's back.
Yeah, week 4. Trust me, I talked to enough guys with the Jets. I'll see them tomorrow. We talk about a scale here. It's the FAFO scale. That is a falafel around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have falafeled around, and you finna find out. So, good luck.
Sean Payton. Is he one of the greatest coaches of all time? Like people bill him to be?
He's one of the greatest of all time. Calm down.
People talk about him like he's one of the greatest of all time. He's a genius. He's an offensive genius. I mean, maybe
in his own
is.
mind, he's a legend of right now.
Maybe he is, but I've also never seen the genius without Drew Brees. I mean, if that rule is going to stand for you Bill Belichick haters, which I include myself in that category, then the rule has to stand for Sean Payton. You can't just give him a pass where you're not giving one to Bill, or vice versa.
100%.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We're next up. Number 22 might be a team that's close to some of your hearts. We will return right after this.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slowing, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. New Leicester Highway near Mount Carmel Road, delays. Sweeten Creek Road, southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. 26 eastbound in Polk County is crawling after Mills Street and at the South Carolina-North Carolina state line. 26 eastbound again slow between the South Carolina-NC state line and SC11. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
Sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com, and I sell custom blinds designed for do-it-yourselfers. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
This is my Carolina Panthers bobblehead, my 04 NFC Championship jersey, and my Panthers scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Whoa, you could win $200,000 and even 4 season tickets to the Panthers Vault? Why haven't you scratched it?
It's in mint condition.
New Panthers Scratch-Offs. Enter to win season tickets to the Vault, a field-level premium seating experience. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.23. Carolina Panthers is a registered trademark of Panthers Football, LLC. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Foo Fighters,
Fall Out Boy,
Kelly Clarkson,
Kane Brown,
Lil Wayne, Lil Durk,
Lenny Kravitz,
Miguel,
Public Enemy,
Sheryl Crow,
Travis Scott,
Tim McGraw,
TLC,
30 Seconds to Mars.
Get your tickets now.
iHeartRadio Music Festival.
AXS.com.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Attention! It's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
Taking every aspect that is important to winning in the NFL, power ranking all of the teams by them, then totaling their scores is the best way that we can come up with your state of your franchise. That's today's power rankings here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN. Asheville, we're at number 22. And
it's a team that I'll see very soon. I like my version better.
It's the Carolina Panthers coming in at number 22.
There's a lot of things to like.
Yes.
I'm warming to David Tepper. I think he did the early on thing that new owners do. Hey, I'm going to come make a splash and run this like my other companies.
Like hiring Sean Payton. Excuse me.
Other than your dead cat advice, I think that's the smartest thing you've said all day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube and you'll understand it.
Indeed.
Look, I like where Carolina's at. This team's just really young. And, I mean, look, this puts you second highest in your division, and you're not that far behind the team in first. But it's going to take a year. There are a ton of moving pieces here. And I look at Carolina and go, you fall into that. It's going to be 7, 8, or 9. I just don't know which one. If it's 9, you might win the division.
Mm-hmm.
At worst, I think you finished in a tie for second.
Yep.
I just don't see any worse than that.
No. This Carolina team, I still believe, is going to make a push at the end of the year, and that it's going to look a lot better than it should in year one of a rookie quarterback and a brand-new head coach.
And a lot of other moving pieces. I mean, look, they've drafted well. In large part, they've hit on several of these. I love J.C. Horn.
Mm-hmm.
Always have, probably always will.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got holes in this roster. And I don't think that's even debatable. I'm not being spicy. I'm not being any of that. This is a very nice transformation from year to year. Because looking at the roster that you're going to trot out week one versus what you trotted out week one of last year is very different. I hate that you had to give up DJ Moore to get Bryce Young, but I get it.
I mean, it's very different on the offensive side.
Yeah, I mean, the defense wasn't the problem in the first place. Minus that one game where they decided to put C.J. Henderson on Mike Evans, and then that was a problem.
Yeah, that was not a good idea.
Yeah, you ought not do that. It was a bad idea, and if you didn't learn the first 7 times, you should have figured it out the second 7 times.
Mm-hmm. This team...
I think Frank Reich's a really good coach, and this... I'm not going to say it's the best team he's ever had. It's the best setup he's ever had. It's a really good staff. And they're another team. I would say they're going to be drastically higher a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
I could see every number on that list being higher in 1 year. Do I think Frank Reich is Doug Peterson? No. That's a really lazy analogy that people use because they were together in Philadelphia. But he could be Doug Peterson light.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of this year, you could be looking at Carolina going, man, I feel good about 24. And that's how I think it's going to go.
Yeah. And this could very well be sort of a next Philadelphia, San Francisco kind of a place. I mean, with all of the coaches that they added to that staff and the support coaches, the assistant coaches and such, I mean, I could see this being the next place where
I think your
head coaches get picked from.
Oh, well, if that's what you're talking about, I get it. I would say this is more the next Jacksonville. You got the quarterback. You had an absolute moron as your head coach. And I was talking about Urban Meyer, but, hey, Matt Rule, if that shoe fits, you pick that bad boy up and wear it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see an actual legitimate NFL head coach and go, man, this team looks a lot better than they did with old triple XL Matt Rule. It's his shirt size, not his brain size. Let's go.
At number 21.
The New York Football Giants. I love Brian Daboll.
As you should.
We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Mara family at 12 in ownership, and to me, that is way too high. But it balanced out. Your quarterback situation, Daniel Jones, is fine, but you're paying him like he's elite. That's always going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It has been every single time we've ever done that. And the overall talent of the roster, I think it's really good in certain spots. I think the line will be better because Andrew Thomas is a franchise left tackle and Evan Neal will be better.
Mm-hmm.
You have the weirdest combination of receivers I have ever seen in my life.
I mean, it's 8 threes.
Yeah, it's like my dating record before I met Amy. It's a whole mess of threes.
Right. You don't have a guy on there that I can go just like with the Colts. I look at Michael Pittman and I don't think he's a 1. I think he's.
Don't compare Michael Pittman to Sterling Shepard.
No. This is what I'm saying. I look at all of the guys on this on this roster and go, none of these guys are 1s. None of these guys are 2s. Some of them aren't even 3s.
To me, you have 5 threes. You could have two that are really low in twos. But I like Darren Waller. I still think there's holes on the defense. Look, I don't think the Giants are the 21st team in the NFL. I think where you're sitting, you hired a really good coach, but he's having to unwind a lot of Dave Gettleman years. And that takes more than 2 years. You overachieved last year. I think you're going to underachieve this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then next year, you level that schedule back out, and you don't just play Murderer's Row, which is what they do this year. And you'll start seeing, I think, a more competitive team.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the Giants cratering to earth this year. Not because they're any worse.
Because their schedule's evil.
Because the schedule's evil. You play Philly twice. You play Dallas twice. You play the AFC East, and I got news for you. 3 of those 4 teams are not just better than you, they're way better than you.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of, to me, puts your ceiling at, if everything went just hunky-dunky, 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to believe that's going to happen with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I didn't think it could happen last year either.
And look at the schedule. Play the easiest schedule in the NFL. You now play the second toughest. Good luck with that.
Yep.
I mean, the truth will be in the pudding there very quick, I believe.
This is the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville. Number 21 is the New York Giants. How about number 20?
The New Orleans Saints. Are the Saints the 20th best team in the NFL? No, they're better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Your head coach is a disaster area. And it puts more volatility in you than you should have. Now, let me play a fun game, and maybe, because we have a lot of Saints fans that listen to the show. So let me play a fun game and see if it makes this make sense. You know I don't love Sean Payton. I'm in like with him, not in love.
Mm-hmm.
If Sean Payton was the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, I would say there is no doubt they win the NFC North, or the NFC South, excuse me, and they probably go in and could beat one of those North teams. They could beat a wild card team, probably win a game in the playoffs. With Dennis Allen, you could tell me anything from 11-6 to 6-11, and I'll believe it. Because he is awful.
Right.
Now, conversely, Sean Payton's in Denver. If Dennis Allen was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, you're going to win 2 games, and they may burn your stadium to the ground before this season is over. That's how much a coach matters. The thing is, I think New Orleans' roster is so good, it's almost idiot-proof at this point. I love what New Orleans puts on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I love Derek Carr. He is a huge step up from anything they've had since Drew Brees. But I just can't get away from Dennis Allen. So many games where I just watched little myopic things. I mean, he's not Rich Kotite bad. Ooh, that's a word that I can't say without needing a Tums and a Mylanta. But he's pretty bad. And it really bothers me that he's still the coach of this team.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is they win the division, then you can't fire him. And then you're just stuck in neutral for a presidential term. And New Orleans, you deserve better than that. This roster's better than that.
I think maybe the best scenario here is that they lead in the division, and then they blow the lead in the division late in the season. That way, you got something to look forward to with the talent on the team, but you could also look forward to something with a new coach next year.
The thing that infuriates me about bad coaches is that they very often lose games that they should win, and they win games that they should lose, which makes it damn near impossible to project them. And that's where I'm at with New Orleans. I look at that roster and go, there is nobody in this division that's really even close to them. Frank Reich's a better coach, Arthur Smith's a better coach. And that's going to keep it closer than it should be.
Mm-hmm. Colin Greene says, top to bottom, the Saints have the 3rd best roster in the NFL behind the Jets and the Eagles.
I can't go that high. Cincinnati's better than you. Kansas City's better than you. I could go as high as top 10. I think we put them at, 16? Overall talent was 16?
Yes.
And that's Notorious B.I.G. in our YouTube comments said I'd have him at 16 with D. I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand what you're saying. Your quarterback is difficult to figure out because you're paying him high-end money. He's better than the 17th best quarterback in the league. But you're paying him high-end quarterback money, which brings him down. That's what brings that ranking down.
Mm-hmm.
All this is saying is that you're more volatile than a team with the 16th best roster in the NFL should be.
Yep. And I also feel like you have a major question mark in your weapons. Derek Carr's supposed to get the ball to somebody. Okay, what if Michael Thomas is not who we think he is? What if he's not even a shadow of that former guy that he once was? You do have Chris Olave, who I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, you got a lot of question marks.
And it comes back to me of, okay, you look at the defense last year. It should have been better than it was. And is this Todd Bowles syndrome of you get a defensive guy who comes in there and just bleeds your defense out? If that's the case, then I'm probably being generous. But that's the volatility. Mm-hmm. I have to go with the law of averages there. It could be way better than this. I don't think it has much of a chance of being way worse than this. But then again, bad coaches do weird things.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the power rankings inside the top 20 in the state of all 32 NFL franchises. Plus, we'll get weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Very different weather picture tonight. Just a stray storm in the mountains tonight, not the widespread heavy downpours and active weather that we had last night. 62 degrees in the valley tonight, even some 50s with higher elevations tonight. A little taste of fall tonight with lower humidity. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 85 degrees. Stray thunderstorms on Thursday, high near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy Friday, 85. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is crawling in Haywood County, 40 westbound after Fines Creek Road and at the North Carolina-Tennessee state line. Due to a tractor-trailer fire, a lane is closed. 240 eastbound is slow between Amboy Road and exit 4A. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Beaver Dam Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow south of the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. In Polk County, 26 eastbound, stop and go after West Mills Street and at SC 14. I'm Lee Minfield with your time saver.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has what you need for travel. Passport photos, luggage, headphones, even personal travel-sized items. Now get $10 off your purchase of 30 or more when you buy a travel service. In-store only offer ends September 16th. Exclusions apply. Staples, your first stop to nonstop travel.
Every day, you breathe in thousands of microscopic germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril around the back of the nose and out the other nostril, helping flush out all the nasty things that make you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Cindy, a verified Navage user who writes, "I've had such awful nasal congestion for the last couple years. I bought Navage and OMG, I can breathe again. I love this thing. Goodbye neti pot, hello Navage." End quote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is coming back to T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas this September.
Superstar artists from every genre.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Buy tickets now at AXS.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblin Charity's St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville. We are live in the Ingles Studio in the Sportsocracy. Go to thesportsocracy.com. By the way, once you get to the front page, you will see the Battle for the Belt signups are posted. You want to be Beer City's best fantasy football player. You have 2 chances to win one of our belts this year in the Battle for the Belt. Proceeds benefiting Eblin Charity's St. Nicholas Project.
And here's the thing. You want us to shut up about it? Sign up. We get enough sign-ups, and we'll shut up about it. Like
That's not even kind of how that works, because we get a bunch of signups.
Shut
Guess
up,
what?
Tank.
We're going to do more, because we want to raise as much money as possible for the St. Nicholas Project. Eblin
100%.
Charities is a
It's a great
partner.
charity.
Yep.
They do great things.
Yep.
This is for kids at Christmas, and it's a tax write-off that you get to use to play fantasy football with your 2 favorite morons that talk on the radio.
Which is absolutely perfect. It's
and you could pull a Michael Meadows and take the belt away from my very grippy hands.
His defiant hands.
And these belts are even heavier, which makes me want them more.
Yes, indeed. 2 chances to win a belt, the standard DFS contest, and then the Eliminator Challenge, which you will hear more about when we explain it all in depth coming up on Thursday in the quarter marathon, the Fantasy Football Sportsocracy quarter marathon, 6 hours of fantasy football coverage from noon to 6 only on the Sportsocracy YouTube channel. We get back to the power rankings in just a moment, but we do need to get weird. And today, my weird story comes to us from the beautiful state of
Florida.
Yes, it's Florida. Of course it is. Where a man named Robert Dell is now facing charges after he was found to be running a scheme on eBay. He was selling stolen merchandise on eBay, where he worked with several accomplices, 4 who have been arrested, to shoplift Milwaukee, DeWalt, and other branded products from Home Depot stores all around Central Florida. Now, here's the kicker. $1.4 million is what they say this guy made off of selling the stolen merchandise. The interesting part of the story is he's a preacher.
Oh, don't do that.
He's a preacher. Robert Dell, he was the former pastor of the Rock Church and currently, well, not anymore, the operator of a halfway house for people recovering from drug addiction. And the police say this went down this way. He would take in the less fortunate, those with some troubles, into the halfway house, and then he would use, of course, his position of power, probably, threatening to report them to their parole officers or whoever if they did not comply and help him in this scheme. They say that he and the co-conspirators that carried out these thefts would hit the stores 5 to 6 times a day. And then they would take all the power tools back to his house. He'd put them up on eBay, where he sold them on a page that was called The Anointed Liquidator. It's guys like this that you can bury under the jail. And 100%. I think we'll all be fine with it.
100%. I don't ever do this. My weird story is sports related and is a great opportunity for you to hit your little stupid breaking news button.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Why is it that anytime you move, you make even the most unathletic things look even less athletic? So we went into the day thinking that Kareem Hunt and Anthony Barr were just signing with the Saints, right? They had good visits.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, not so fast, my friends, because they are both leaving New Orleans without deals, and Kareem Hunt is headed to the lovely state of Indiana.
Really?
He will work out with the Indianapolis Colts, who apparently called while he was in New Orleans and offered more money. Now I'm officially looking at this going, Kenyon Drake, that didn't move me in the least. The Jonathan Taylor thing, we'll just get that resolved. Okay, now we're getting into now we're stocking the depth chart with running backs. Jonathan Taylor is at home rehabbing a shoulder injury, which that's not allowed. CBA. Ugh.
What, he has to be in the building to rehab?
You're not allowed to just go, nope.
Is that voluntary, or did they tell him to leave?
The report was that he left of his own volition. So, I mean, he didn't call me and tell me, so I can only tell you what was reported.
Okay. I mean, I was just curious. Is this one of those situations like with the Las Vegas Raiders last year where they told Derek Carr, yeah, you can go home. You can go home for the last 2 games of the season. We're fine.
That was and Anthony Barr apparently has other offers from other teams. And in your weird story, you told
way to go, Adam.
Yeah, you told a story about a preacher. We have a preacher right here at the Sportsocracy. His name's Adam Black in our YouTube comments. Tank didn't do that dance before he had kids, because if he did, he wouldn't have had a woman to have children with. Hashtag birth control dance. Let's go. That is why he is the official pastor of the Sportsocracy. Let's go.
Indeed. All right, let's get back to our power rankings here. If you're just joining us, we've taken all the teams in the NFL, and we have ranked each one of them by different categories, from your ownership to your front office to your talent, the talent on your roster, to your quarterback situation, and then we come up with the composite score. Now,
I will never call that dance anything but the birth control dance ever again.
Yes. We are up to number 19.
This one's going to seem a little high, but just take the journey with me. The Los Angeles Rams.
Well, you get weighted because you
have one of the best owners in sports.
Really good coach.
And if you don't think Stan Kroenke's that good, he has 4 titles in 18 months in all of the major sports. So I think he's pretty good. And then you get to the coach, and Sean McVay's a really good coach. Look, the roster's awful. The roster right now is awful. Your quarterback situation, awful. Your front office, I don't love it at all. But you have drafted well in the past. And that gets you to here. Having a good owner and a good coach will get you through a lot of tomfoolery. Now, you went several years going falafel them picks, and, well, they said, falafel you. How about that? And that's where you're at now. As a draft guy, I take a lot of joy in that, because you took what I do for a living and you pooed on it, and then it pooed back on you. So, awesome.
This team fell apart so quickly.
Quicker than an IKEA side table.
Yeah. It fell apart so quickly after the Super Bowl, and now you're just staring at a team that, yes, you got Cooper Kupp, and you've got Aaron Donald, but what else do you have beyond that?
Well, that's because they built this roster so top-heavy that it made my first 2 marriages look stable. And that's saying a lot.
But you're one hit away. You're one hit away from having to play one of the 3 following players: Brett Rippon, Stetson Bennett, and something called Dresser Wynn.
That's a great name. But, here's where the but comes. With an owner like Stan Kroenke that has the money and the desire to win that he does, you have a coach in Sean McVay that he has obviously sold something, because he's back again with this dog water roster. I struggle to believe they're not going to find a way to be relevant again within 18, 24 months.
Possibly. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of retooling to get you back there. Well, maybe you can. But for right now, this team is terrible.
Hey, maybe take a draft pick, because the player that they take in this draft, the upcoming 2024 NFL draft, the last time they made a first-round selection, that kid was in the 7th grade. So maybe stop doing that and you won't have this happen. Hope you learned your lesson. Hope you enjoy that one Super Bowl trophy. It's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
But I believe in the owner. I believe in the coach.
Okay.
That's how they get here.
Okay. Number 18. You got to believe in this ownership group. It's the Green Bay Packers.
Because that ownership is the fans. It's a stable organization.
Mm-hmm. Always
Do I
has been.
love your roster right now? No, I don't. No, I don't. You got a lot of talent on the defense. I think you have a lot of talent, period. You're just so unbelievably young. What can you definitively count on? And a lot of people will see their overall talent at 25. Your quarterback's very weighted into that, just so we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
What can you count on?
They can run the ball.
Are you sure?
I believe so.
Behind that line. All right, Bakhtiari goes down. Where are you at now?
I mean, it gets tough, but
you weren't a fantastic running team with Aaron Rodgers. You think all of a sudden you're going to be able to carry yourself behind a running game with Jordan Love? Is it possible? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
I think it's a very
It's also possible I could shave my head and join a convent, but it's not entirely likely.
I think it's a very talented offensive line. I think that they will be able to open some holes.
They have some players, but they're thin.
The problem is every team can stack the box against you and just dare Jordan Love to try to beat you, and I don't think he can.
And the thing that scares me is that you now have a first-time starter that is playing with almost exclusively first- and second-year players.
Mm-hmm.
They got talent. I'm not telling you it's not a talented team. It's so young. Green Bay has gone all in on the draft. And now I just really feel like you're in that year where, okay, we're going to grow, and you're going to get snaps for guys like Luke Musgrave, who has been a revelation in camp, according to what I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt that. I never doubted that. Every one of your tight ends is first, second-year guy. There's going to be some growing pains here, but it's a stable franchise, and you have shown a history of being able to grow players.
Yep.
I also there's something that's not on this screen, and it's called the Joe Barry effect. I think I would be a better ballerina dancer than he is defensive coordinator, so that brought you down in the front office. I couldn't lump it on LaFleur because he's still a good coach, even though I don't love him. So it had to bring you down somewhere, and I'm looking at the front office going, how in the world did you not fire Joe Barry after last year?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the front office, the whole Brian Gutekunst thing, and the way they handled Aaron Rodgers to begin with. I've been a staunch critic of that.
Space Beast in our YouTube comment said, Green Bay's QB1 is 22. All right, let me explain that. You're not incredibly committed to him. It's only a one-year deal. He's not making a crazy amount of money. So he's behind the rookies in that I don't think he's as good as Bryce Young. I don't necessarily think he's as good as C.J. Stroud, but he's making more money. He's ahead of guys like Ryan Tannehill because you don't have all the money that you're going to have to pay him down the line. If it didn't work out this year, you're drafting a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the ammo to do it because you're going to have an extra first-round pick from the Jets because you have a smart front office ownership group. The higher-ups there.
Yep.
And I keep saying ownership. I know that's the fans.
But will a mid-first-rounder and a late-ish first-rounder be enough to get to get a quarterback?
Depends on how many quarterbacks make it through. There's a possibility you have 6 in the first round. And if that's and to me, all of them could be better than Jordan Love. And if that's the case, and you've let all these players develop for a year, they could be 10 spots higher next year.
Let's keep it in the NFC North. Number 17, the Minnesota Vikings.
Your roster's better
than it was last year. Your
Others.
roster's better than what?
Look, I've been really hard on Minnesota because your rankings in this are basically exactly how I feel about Minnesota. Down the line, 17, 15, 18, 19, 17. Every single one of those is within 4 slots of dead middle of the center of the league.
Yes.
That's what Minnesota is.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, luckiest team in NFL history. Made you look like a top 8 team. You're not. You weren't. You won't be.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I mean, I'm a big believer in karma and the universe taking care of things. You're not going to be in the ballpark of as lucky as you were last year. If you have even a modicum of of unlucky of the ballpark of how lucky you were last year, you're going to be awful. And when we tallied all this up and I saw Minnesota was at 17, I laughed. And I went, yep, that makes just all the sense in the world because that's what you are.
Yeah.
You're average. You are a bologna sandwich. I've never had one, so I don't really. It's a cold hot dog, okay? It's a cold hot dog that you pattied out.
Yeah.
Heat that bad boy up, throw some ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard on it, maybe a little pickle, and let's go.
This is a team that I still believe in the offense, but the defense is terribly lacking in talent. And I still believe that Kirk Cousins is still a top 12-ish quarterback in the NFL.
He's a guy that will be talked about a lot in our fantasy marathon on Thursday.
And they will continue
for a litany of reasons.
They will continue to be able to put up points. Losing Dalvin Cook didn't really, to me, make all that much difference to this team.
He's a running back.
Right.
He's a running back.
Other than that, you got a good offensive line. You got pretty decent weapons, even though everybody behind Justin Jefferson is unproven.
Mm-hmm.
But I still like the way the offense is built.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about.
Number 16 may seem low to some of you.
It's not low. It's not low because it's a team. It's the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Do you really believe in Mike McDaniel?
Maybe.
Every time he speaks, I believe in him less.
Really?
Every single time.
Why is that?
I don't know, because he has this. Okay. I'm not a fan of the disciplinarian, my way or the highway coach. I want you to be smart, and there are plenty of ways to do that, and I think Mike McDaniel's smart. I also think he is as goofy as any person I have ever seen in the NFL. And he does these things. He did a press conference the other day that I honestly thought he was on recreational crimes. Because I went, no coach in the NFL can be as stupid as you're playing right now. And I feel like in the room, there are, and Captain Obvious said he's a goofy guy, that's who he is. I get that. There are guys in the NFL that look at that guy and go, I am not climbing the hill with that guy. Miami's roster is really good. We had them at 10 overall. I think they're really good. But your owner is a dumpster fire and has been for many years. And that's what brings Miami down.
Yep.
I don't really buy Mike McDaniel, your owner and your coach. They are what weighed you down. You should have been in the top 10. And I think in terms of where you will finish this year, you very well could be in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Would it shock you if they're not?
No.
In a division with Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen, in a conference with those two, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, would it shock you if they didn't make the playoffs?
No.
Here's the other thing, and Jason Trump just said it in YouTube comments. Quarterback one is one hit away from bye-bye time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. That's going to weigh you down. Because your quarterback's at 15.
But he's girthier.
We argued about this quarterback ranking for probably longer than we argued about anything. I have no problem with the talent. I don't know what you pay him. All right, let's say you get through this year and the worst thing he encounters is a hangnail.
Mm-hmm.
What do you pay him? Are you giving him $50 million?
You have to. If Daniel Jones is getting 40 plus,
I don't know that I can do it. All right, so because here's where my brain's at. I give you the $50 million deal that every elite quarterback, and if he gets through this year, he will be considered an elite quarterback.
Absolutely.
But I know you're that one shot away from me setting $180 million on fire. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I physically can't do it. And I don't know how I'm going to make you understand that. And then you run into this franchise thing. And Miami's one of those teams that I'm looking at going, everything you've got better be this year. Because there's a storm brewing, and I don't know how you fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't trust your owner to fix it. I don't. I look at Stephen Ross and go, you have made problems where problems didn't exist. How in the world are you going to handle a problem that you can't do anything about? And that's what scares me. So that's why Miami is a little lower than you would think.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM. and 1400. Power rankings will continue after the top of the hour.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between Amboy Road and exit 4A. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling after Fines Creek Road and at the North Carolina-Tennessee state line due to a tractor-trailer fire. South of Canton, Crusoe Road near Tanwood Ridge, an accident reported. Hendersonville Road, moving problem-free. Sweeten Creek Road, no delays. In Polk County, 26 eastbound is slow after West Mill Street and at SC 14. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's BOGO $1 deal. Wendy's BOGO $1 deal is back at participating Wendy's. Buy a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, 10-piece nugs, or medium frosty, and get another for $1. Double your deliciousness. Hurry, this BOGO deal won't last.
Get ready to win your way to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival and $1,000.
You'll be there.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
September 22nd and 23rd.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival.
The Hartford Small Business Insurance knows that opening a small business is a great achievement. Thanks to all the owners for all they do to keep our communities vibrant and strong. Learn more about the Hartford Small Business Insurance and why over 1 million small business owners trust them. Visit thehartford.com/smallbusiness.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Can we make 10,000 thread count sheets?
For Lens Linens, staying in the comfort zone is never an option.
Maximum thread count we could possibly thread.
An industrial seamstress would make their sweet dreams come true.
I want it to feel like you're on a snowflake, on cotton candy, on marshmallows, on a cloud.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Very different weather picture tonight. Just a stray storm in the mountains tonight, not the widespread heavy downpours and active weather that we had last night. 62 degrees in the valley tonight, even some 50s with higher elevations tonight. A little taste of fall tonight with lower humidity. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 85 degrees. Stray thunderstorms on Thursday, high near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy Friday, 85. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between Amboy Road and exit 4A. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling after Fines Creek Road and at the North Carolina-Tennessee state line due to a tractor-trailer fire. South of Canton, Crusoe Road near Tanwood Ridge, an accident reported. Hendersonville Road, moving problem-free. Sweeten Creek Road, no delays. In Polk County, 26 eastbound is slow after West Mill Street and at SC 14. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com, and I sell custom blinds designed for do-it-yourselfers. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is Sports Center. $1,000 and a trip to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
This just in from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Free agent running back Kareem Hunt had a great visit with the Saints. He will now meet with the Colts tomorrow. He was offered more money from Indy. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
From a stylistic standpoint, I think that Kareem Hunt fits better with Indy, how they want to run the football, how he wants to pound it up in there. Him and Jonathan Taylor, although they are not identically the same, there's some similar traits from a running back standpoint.
You heard Booger mention Jonathan Taylor. He's left training camp to rehab an ankle injury as he and the Colts remain at a standoff over a contract extension, so there is an immediate need at running back for Indianapolis. Some Commanders players concerned over the intensity of new offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. Head coach Ron Rivera said some players have approached him to discuss their issues with the new OC. Bieniemy says he's not about to change his approach, always going to be loud, vocal, and demand from his leaders. Rays ace Shane McClanahan highly unlikely to pitch again this season. According to manager Kevin Cash, everything is on the table for McClanahan. He could have surgery on his injured left forearm.
You don't need special gadgets to be a hero. With unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, everywhere, the Capital One Quicksilver Card makes you the hero of every purchase. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Now your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword FESTIVAL to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's FESTIVAL to 200-200.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. You can also listen to us on the iHeartRadio app. Take us with you everywhere you go. You can also listen and see us on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. And, of course, yes, see us live here in the Ingles Studio. Normally at the top of the third hour of the program, we do the daily draft. We're going to skip that today because we're running low on time and we still got a lot of teams to get through in the power rankings.
See, we, as Bill Belichick just accused Robert Saleh, don't seem to understand how a clock works. So we're running a little late. We're a little behind.
Look, we just have so many opinions and so much quote unquote knowledge about these teams that we just feel like we have to share and expound on every team.
Plus, we're not going to be here tomorrow. I got to go do activities in the garage with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So, okay.
Jeremy heading down to Panthers training camp as the Jets are going to be in town for joint practices. Also tonight, I'm very excited about the debut of Hard Knocks. You are. You know you are.
I'll watch it. I genuinely have not watched one episode of the show since the Jets were on the last time.
I like the Hard Knocks show, and I'm excited about tonight's debut. I will not be able to stay up for it, but I will catch up on it tomorrow, especially while I am at the doctor with my wife. We will not have a show tomorrow mainly because, yes, Jeremy could be back from training camp by then, but I have to take the wife to the doctor Everybody, your thoughts and prayers are appreciated. I'm a big believer in the power of prayer, so everybody send your good vibes out for us tomorrow that we get some good news from the doctors. But we will return on Thursday for our special fantasy football quarter marathon. 6 hours of fantasy football advice, rankings, mock drafts. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, completely uncensored, only on the YouTube channel. So be sure to tune in for that. ESPN Asheville listeners, you will be getting Braves baseball on Thursday afternoon. So you can have the baseball game on your radio, but turn your computer or your smartphone onto YouTube so you can follow us with all of the fantasy football advice. Now let's continue with our power rankings here on this Power Rankings Tuesday. It is the state of all 32 franchises. We've taken every team and ranked them in every category: ownership, talent on the roster, quarterbacks. That takes the contracts into account as well, coaches.
This is top to bottom.
Right,
this is a franchise ranking.
And so we rank you, and then we total all your scores, and the team with the lowest score has the best future. Now we're halfway through. We're up to number 15.
The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I feel like this is a lightning rod team. Now, it's obvious why, because everybody looks at the quarterback and it's one of the most polarizing quarterbacks in NFL history.
And I think a lot of people are really stupid in their takes with him.
Okay.
Oh, he had a year off with the Texans where they were arguing over the contract. Then he was suspended for last year, and all of a sudden he forgot how to play football. That's dumb. And would you like me to hear how dumb that is? The last time we did this, Deshaun Watson was rated as the 4th best quarterback in the league. That was in March of 2022. And all of a sudden, because he played 5 games where he didn't come into camp until week 11, now all of a sudden he's awful. Okay. Deshaun Watson will be my starting fantasy quarterback in more leagues than I'm proud of.
As he will be mine.
Because he keeps falling directly in my lap.
Yes. And it gets to a point where it's just dumb talk. Because all other things aside, you would look at Deshaun Watson and go, that is a top 6, 7 quarterback in the NFL, no question. It's just we haven't seen him do it for a while, and so people forget. But I think you're going to quickly remember. With this team, they got a banger of an offensive line. I feel like they have a ton of weapons to use. Nick Chubb's one of the best running backs in the NFL.
I believe very highly in the roster. There's two things I don't believe in.
I was going to say, that defense stacked top to bottom, too.
Yeah, and it was not good last year. A new coordinator, I get it. I don't believe in your owner, and I don't believe in your coach. Coach could prove me wrong. Owner, I know what you are.
Mm-hmm. You've done it long enough.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you are. And dysfunction tends to follow him around, and that makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know the difference between the Browns and the 3 other teams in this division?
Yes.
They have very, very stable ownership. Now, you can feel about Cincinnati's however you want to. It's a lot different now than it was 10 years ago. And it's drastically different than it was 30 years ago. Same guy.
Mm-hmm.
He evolved. Could the same thing happen with Jimmy Haslam? Maybe. The roster is drastically better. I love the front office.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still that pause of, yep, I thought this last year.
We
looked at that schedule and went, Deshaun Watson's going to come back with a playoff push. And Deshaun Watson came back to a team that was playing for not squat.
Every team in this division, outside of the Cincinnati Bengals, you can make an argument, and you won't even have to go for long to convince me that they finish in any spot in this division, 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
Between the Baltimore Ravens, they could finish last. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they could finish last. Cleveland, they could finish last. That's how
struggle
good
to
this
see that
division
out of
is.
Cleveland more than I do the other two.
You struggle to see it with Cleveland? Wow, okay.
If you told me
they're the easiest one to believe.
That they finished last?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't at all. Look, I think Cleveland's going to have a huge year. But I do still have that reservation of, okay, say this out loud. Zach Taylor, who's been to a Super Bowl, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, who have both won Super Bowls, Kevin Stefanski, who hasn't won squat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference there. So if you're looking at franchise rankings, all those things matter. In terms of roster, I can make the argument that Cleveland's the best team in this division.
I could get down that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can get down that path with you. At number 14, it's the New England Patriots. And you go, but wait, the Patriots aren't as good. Aren't as good as the Cleveland Browns. No, but you swing heavily on the ownership and
best
the coach.
Ownership in the league.
Yep.
Most successful coach in league history.
Yep.
Now, I have your coach at 9, and I think I was being generous in terms of right now.
Yes, where he's at right now.
But I also kind of lump Bill O'Brien into that and go, well, can your offense actually be any worse than it was last year with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge? No, probably not. But your schedule's evil.
Mm-hmm.
And New England, to me, when I got to this point and they were 14, I went, yep, that maths. They're directly in the middle of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Bill swings you up. Your talent is not there, but you're a historically good franchise.
I feel like Bill alone is worth 3 wins a season just on his coaching ability.
I don't know that I agree with that.
You don't think so?
I think the franchise is worth 3. Look, I'm going to say something, and I'll go ahead and tell you at least 2 people are going to have something to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we look at Bill Belichick the way we should probably look at Bob Kraft. Bob took a historically bad franchise, took it to a Super Bowl, a little lull. Bill Parcells leaves them, goes to the Jets, and then he did it again.
Mm-hmm.
There haven't been a lot of lulls of, oh my, the Patriots are awful since Bob Kraft took this team over.
Right.
Bill got Tom. You can ride the coattails of a great decision like that for a long time because it's historically the greatest decision in the history of professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me right now you had a game to win in the NFL, I'll give you 2 dead even rosters. You taking Bill or you taking Andy Reid?
Oh, it's Andy.
Okay. You taking Bill, you taking Pete Carroll?
That one's closer to me.
Okay. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer.
that one's much closer.
You taking Bill, you taking John Harbaugh?
John.
You taking Bill, you taking Sean McVay? I keep doing those.
Yeah, I get it.
That's my point.
I get it. I mean, he's still in that upper tier or just at the bottom of the upper tier.
I didn't say he was Dennis Allen. That's how this will be construed.
Yes,
I know
that's
that.
exactly how it gets construed every time. Bill is obviously still worth something as a coach, as a game planner, all of those things.
I have him at 9. That's not a slight.
No, it's not. The problem with this team is it's built like it's
1986, and it's not.
Well, I guess. I was going to say just throwing darts at a board. But
if you're going to build a team like this, you better be absolutely able to run the ball down people's throats and never give up points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really buy either one of those things.
No.
I think your defense is good. I think your ability to run the ball is good. I don't think it's great. I don't think either one of them are great. I don't.
Yep.
And you have a mediocre to bad quarterback that I told you the day you drafted him exactly what he would be.
And you're playing in the toughest division in football.
And you play the toughest schedule in the NFL.
Yep. It's going to be very tough for the Patriots to win games this year, and you got to get better talent-wise, but I don't know that you're I don't know that you're going to do that with Bill Belichick still as the head coach because he thinks he can still do it his way, and his way I don't think wins in this league anymore.
So you took a kicker in the 4th round.
That's a good point. Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers.
A lot of people are probably going to think that's too low. The ownership group, look, we have enough people that like the Chargers to listen to the show. Just ask them how they feel about the Spanos family. It's not great. And your coach weighs you down. If Sean Payton had gone to the Chargers, I'll use the same analogy that I used with the Saints. If Sean Payton had gone to the Chargers, I would be talking about them dethroning the Chiefs as the best team in the AFC West.
Okay.
Not that I know it's going to happen, but that it's a possibility.
But you'd have faith in it.
I can definitively tell you I don't see a path of that happening, and the roster is good enough to do it. The roster is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this defensive coach, they were bad. Not just, the defense didn't make the – they were bad. Bad, but bad. And that's how much a coach matters. I mean, in terms of sheer roster, it's the 9th best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Top to bottom, 1 to 53.
Yes. And I'm hoping that with Kellen Moore coming in to take over the offense, we can now see, I don't want to say like a dual head coaching role, but Brandon can get back to just focusing on the defense and let Kellen do the offensive things and not have that crossover.
And I'm not sure that there ever was that crossover. I just believe much more in Kellen Moore than I ever did in Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
So you get an improvement there. Frankly, I knocked him up from 25 to 22 at coach solely because of Kellen Moore. I don't buy Brandon Staley in the least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 2 years in. I know what you are. I know what you are.
Yep. And you are number 13 in the state of the franchise power rankings here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. We'll get into the Dirty Dozen up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Johns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between Amboy Road and exit 4A. In Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling after Fines Creek Road and at the North Carolina-Tennessee state line. Due to a tractor-trailer fire, a lane is closed. 26 eastbound delays between Bavard Road and approaching the French Broad River. In Polk County, 26 eastbound slow after West Mill Street and at SC 14. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road is slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's BOGO $1 deal. Wendy's BOGO $1 deal is back at participating Wendy's. Buy a Dave's single, spicy chicken sandwich, 10-piece nugs, or medium frosty, and get another for $1. Double your deliciousness. Hurry, this BOGO deal won't last.
Foo Fighters,
Fall Out Boy,
Kelly Clarkson,
Kane Brown,
Lil Wayne, Lil Durk,
Lenny Kravitz,
Miguel,
Public Enemy,
Sheryl Crow,
Travis Scott,
Tim McGraw,
TLC.
30 Seconds to Mars.
Get your tickets now.
iHeartRadio Music Festival.
AXS.com.
This is my Carolina Panthers bobblehead, my 04 NFC Championship jersey, and my Panthers scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Whoa, you could win $200,000 and even 4 season tickets to the Panthers Vault? Why haven't you scratched it?
It's in mint condition.
New Panthers Scratch-Offs. Enter to win season tickets to the Vault, a field-level premium seating experience. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.23. Carolina Panthers is a registered trademark of Panthers Football, LLC. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware, if you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Evelyn Charity's St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles Studio, the state of your franchise power rankings. Here on a Power Rankings Tuesday, we are inside now the top 12 in the NFL, ranking every team from ownership to talent. At number 12,
it's the Motor City Madmen and the Detroit Lions.
Drops in a team that was number 32 the last time we did this 18 months ago.
And look, I still don't really believe in the owner, other than the fact I haven't heard anything from any of them in about 3 years.
And that's a good thing.
And you went and hired Brad Holmes, who is a dog.
Yes.
And I tried to tell all of you that. And you know how I know that? Because I went back and listened to the last time we did this, and that was the first words out of my mouth. If anybody can turn this around, it's Brad Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are.
Yep, and here we are. This is a very talented roster. You know, all of the gnashing of teeth over Jared Goff.
He's fine.
You don't look right. That doesn't look too smart these days. He's a fine quarterback. He can throw up some stats. He's got weapons to choose from. He's got an elite offensive line. The defense needs help, but it's getting better.
Well, because it's getting older. Look, what Brad Holmes did was basically just take a bunch of things and throw them against the wall and see what sticks. Well, if you do that long enough, eventually it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And now he figured out, well, I don't draft corners particularly well, so let's just go sign a bajillion of those and see how that works.
Right.
Front seven's going to be good. I like the additions in the secondary, just got to see how it comes together.
Yep. Emmanuel Mosley, Cameron Sutton, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. These are all great additions.
No doubt. This is a team that has made a huge jump. Probably bigger than any team in NFL history over the last 2 years.
I'm really excited to see Jack Campbell.
Oh, you mean that guy I told every Lions fan they were drafting, and they all told me I was an idiot? Yeah. Pepperidge Farm remembers, okay?
And, of course, Dan Campbell. He is my new favorite head coach in the NFL.
Hey, anybody that can wear a shirt that's 3 sizes too big, not tucked into a press conference, it's a guy that I could probably drink domestic lights with.
All right, at number 11, just ahead of the Detroit Lions.
Another big seismic jump for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm. We had a feeling, we talked about this team last year, that if they had a solid coach, this would be a talented team that could make some noise after the embarrassment that was the Urban Meyer year. Doug Peterson comes in. Shocker of shockers, Trevor Lawrence takes the step forward to elitedom that we thought that he was going to, just come in and plant his flag year one. Well, that didn't happen, but it happened last year. And now this team is a legitimate threat, I think, to everybody in the AFC.
I agree. I said when we did the project the season, I had Jacksonville as the number 1 seed in the AFC. Because I look at the schedule and go, I don't know who you're supposed to lose to.
Right.
I think they're going to march up and down the field on teams all year long.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what getting out of your own way will do. Shad Khan's still a bad owner, and it reflects in the ranking.
I think the addition of 2022 was Calvin Ridley. When they made the deal for Calvin Ridley during the suspension season, I don't think it really resonated with people just how great of a move that was until they started seeing the film from camp.
Well, and you still have problems in the trenches, but I definitely think they're trending very much so in the right direction.
At number 10, it's your
2023 Super Bowl champion, Jets, Jets.
The Jets are in the top 10 of the rankings, and this is a super talented roster.
And by the way, just before anybody calls me a homer, hey, guess who made this ranking? All 5 of them. I picked 0 of these, and I did it on purpose. Is that guy right there?
It was
Wasn't
me.
a Jets fan. Didn't have squat to do with me.
It was me.
It was him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually argued to push the ownership group higher than I had them.
I did. I was like, how are the Johnsons? Like, because we looked at one ranking and they were like 28th in the league or something. And I went, what is this?
That's because there's a certain group of Jet fans that are lunatics, and they think Woody Johnson should just like the salary cap shouldn't matter to the Jets. And the fact that Woody has $1 bajillion, he should be meddling like Jerry Jones. It's dumb, but there are some people who feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
He showed this year, money's no object, but I will spend what I need to.
Yes, but the Johnsons have also helped set this up. They brought in Joe Douglas, who I think is no doubt one of the elite GMs in the NFL. He then, in turn, brings in Rob Salah, who, I mean, he's not there yet, but I look at him much as in the same breath as we look at D'Amico Ryans in Houston.
Salah and the coaching staff, if you told me there was something that was going to hold this team back, because, look, Bill Buttigieg had a point. Robert Salah has struggled with the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That is the point of what I'm saying with I get Nathaniel Hackett was not good as a clock manager, as a head coach, but he's been a head coach. He's been in this league a really long time. I have said this no less than 100 times. I hate rookie head coaches that bring in 2 rookie coordinators. Jeff Ulbrich was a rookie coordinator. LaFleur was a rookie coordinator. Now I got a guy that's done this before. I'm not expecting them to come out and reinvent the wheel. I've told all of you, you're putting way too much stock in this offense.
And how much does the experience of Aaron Rodgers play into those end-of-game situations?
Well, you went from Zach Wilson, who could literally have screwed up a s'more. He'd like put dirt in it or something.
Right.
It's graham cracker, marshmallow, cockroach, right? Is that right? That sounds weird. You went from that to one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time, who's going to throw drastically less than you think. They're going to run the ball a lot, and they're going to play really good defense. And Aaron's going to hit you 3 or 4 times a game and not turn the ball over. That roster's really, really good.
Look for Garrett Wilson. Look for Garrett Wilson to have
his name
that year.
His name Thursday will be said no less than 17 times. Frankly, if you want to play a fun drinking game, take a shot every time we say Garrett Wilson's name.
You may be dead.
You should be at home in the confines of your bed, or you could die.
All right, Jets at number 10. Number 9.
I'm really shocked nobody called me a homer, in spite of the fact I had nothing to do with that ranking. Number 9, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. This is one of those that your owner gets ranked high because of your worth. And obviously Jerry Jones is one of the kind of Mount Rushmore-esque figures in the history of the NFL.
Jerry spends the money and Jerry's meddling less than he used to.
That is true.
It's you want to know why he's that high? Because Jerry has he prints money. He got you that stadium built, and weird, right after that stadium was built, all of a sudden the roster has just gotten better and better and better and better and better. You know why? Because they're drafting better. You know why? Because he's not doing it.
Dak Prescott is also the thing that we like. Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. I think, to me, those are 2 of the most under pressure guys in the NFL this year. It's not going to mean much for Dak. I mean, because of the contract, they're not doing it. I mean, he's not like losing his job like Mike McCarthy will if this team underperforms. But it's time. It's time all of this comes together.
Dak Prescott was the last quarterback that I put in front of the rookies because, yes, he is paid, but he's not $50-some-odd million paid. And he's still a top 10, 12 quarterback in the league. The one hesitation I have is I don't believe in your coach at all. I believe in birds and aliens way more than I believe in Mike McCarthy. And that part does scare me, but that roster is really good.
Yes, it is.
And Dan Quinn is really smart. And I like him being the 2. I don't love that McCarthy's calling the plays. I like Kellen Moore better. But I believe in the Cowboys more than the vast majority of them.
But my question is, can they benefit? See, Kellen Moore, he liked to press it more. He liked to push it down the field.
Yeah, he did that no risk it, no biscuit thing that your boy Bruce Arians made famous.
And Dak doesn't really perform well in that.
Well, no, you've got an elite defense now, and I say that because you've added Stephon Gilmore, and now that takes away the biggest reservation I had. And you've come out and said that Micah Parsons playing on the edge full time.
Yep.
That's the 2 biggest problems I had with that defense, and you fixed it in one offseason.
Dak's best games and their best outcomes have come when he doesn't throw the ball as much. So maybe going conservative with Mike McCarthy and running the damn ball is going to help Dak in his development into the quarterback that everybody in Dallas Cowboys fandom wants him to be, the guy that you can rely on when you're in a close playoff game. He's not that guy. He's never has been.
He had a stretch. The year that he blew out his knee, he was headed to a special year.
Yes. But what I'm saying is at the end of the season, he's never proven to be the playmaker at the end of a game in a playoff spot that you want him to be.
Dak being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, he gets more flack than he deserves. He also gets more credit than he deserves. It's a fun double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
He fits in that 8 to 12 role. Good days it'll be 8. Bad days it'll be 12.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Power rankings continue right after this.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Very different weather picture tonight. Just a stray storm in the mountains tonight, not the widespread heavy downpours and active weather that we had last night. 62 degrees in the valley tonight, even some 50s with higher elevations tonight. A little taste of fall tonight with lower humidity. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 85 degrees. Stray thunderstorms on Thursday, high near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy Friday, 85. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 eastbound between Amboy Road and exit 4A. 240 westbound slow between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling after Fines Creek Road and to the North Carolina-Tennessee state line due to a tractor-trailer fire. A lane is closed. 26 eastbound slow between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. And 26 eastbound then crawling near Spartanburg between the South Carolina-North Carolina line and SC-14. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's new grilled cheese dipping taco is filled with new slow braised shredded beef. But the really new part? It comes with a nacho cheese and red sauce you dip it into. Get one on the Taco Bell app today. A participating U.S. Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
The NFL is back, and your free iHeartRadio app is your home for the NFL Podcast Network with full coverage of all 32 NFL teams. Get in-depth analysis from the pros on around the NFL. Win bragging rights at this year's draft with tips from the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast and more. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Saturday, August the 12th, it's the return of the Cold Mountain Music Festival at beautiful Lake Logan, featuring the music of Eddie 9V, Tyler Ramsey, Grizzly Goat, Unspoken Tradition, and the soulful sounds of headliner Betty LaVette. The festival has lots of great food and drink vendors, family-friendly activities, and camping and overnight accommodations available as well. For more information and to get your tickets, log on to coldmountainmusic.org. coldmountainmusic.org. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Oh, and it's almost here. 10 o'clock tonight, you got the first episode of Hard Knocks
training camp with your 2023 Super Bowl champion New York Jets.
Those same New York Jets will be in Spartanburg, South Carolina tomorrow at Wofford University for the Panthers training camp joint practices. Jeremy and his dad will be in attendance. I'm still super stoked that you guys get to do that together.
It's very, very. It will be a very, very cool week.
Yes, and then we got first preseason games this week. We got high school football starting next week. Then we've got college starting at the end of this month. August the 31st, we will have legitimate college football.
That means if you're new to the show and you've never seen what our Friday pick shows look like, you're merely but 3 Fridays away.
It's going to be so much fun.
That just means we're 22 sleeps away from me being allowed to just lose my mind all over again.
It is like coming home again. When football season comes back around, the world just feels a little bit brighter.
The sun shines brighter. The sky's a little bluer. The bird drones fly a little less close to my house and listen to my thoughts. It's a beautiful time to be alive.
Let's take this a little opportunity also to remind you that in our run-up to the NFL season, you don't want to miss out on all of the fantasy advice that you will need to, do well in your fantasy drafts and hopefully your league coming up this season. We are going to be embarking on the fantasy football quarter marathon because we're not doing 24 hours of this stuff, but we will do.
But Tank said no.
No, absolutely not. We will do 6 hours. So 6 hours on Thursday, only on the YouTube stream, completely uncensored from noon until 6 p.m. We'll have all of your fantasy football advice, fun, answer your questions as well on the YouTube stream. So go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe, so you'll get the notification when we go live at noon on Thursday.
You can also go to our Facebook page where the stream will be up after this here program. You just go ahead and sign up for the Battle of the Belt, do all the things, and then when we do these promos, you can just put your fingers in your ears and go, I've already done that.
The state of all 32 NFL teams. This is today's power ranking. We went through and ranked every team in all of the important categories: ownership, coach, front office, your talent, your quarterback, and then we total all those together. Lowest score is on top. We are now down to the top 8 in the NFL. And at number 8...
the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, when your front office and your head coach are this good, it mitigates a lot.
It does. But you do have a very talented team.
Mm-hmm. Specifically a very talented defense.
Yeah.
You have an improved offensive line. I like your skill position, guys. It all falls back on Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people will see him at 20 and go, do you really think he's the 20th best quarterback in the league? No. But he's on a rookie deal. That bumps him up.
Yes. This takes into account not only the talent of your quarterback, but also what you're paying him and how much you are committed to paying him and what he can be worth to your franchise in that regard. I understand it. The front office, the Omar Khan taking over as the GM, we said that is just the greatest hire that you can make in that scenario. Been with this franchise for a long, long time.
And the beat goes on, and they just keep drafting smartly.
He immediately comes in and gets a second-round pick, first pick in the second round, for Chase Claypool, who was a broken toy in Pittsburgh. And then he ended up what?
Oh, no, broken toys. You're really denigrating Chase Claypool. He's a good player. He wasn't worth a second-round pick. That's all of the problems now. All right, he was a 3 in Pittsburgh. Now he's a 3 in Chicago. He's still fine. He's the same deep threat that he was before. The problem is now he doesn't have Ben Roethlisberger. He's got Justin Fields. And trusting that is like trusting me around your Taco Bell. That's how you end up hungry.
They saw the wave ending in the draft, and they moved up to go get the tackle, Broderick Jones. They added some to the offensive line to improve that. And the defense is just going to be really, really solid. I didn't believe in them last year. And they made me shut up pretty much at the end of the season. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to look at this team and undersell them again. They can be in competition. They can be competitive in their division. I don't think they can win it. They could.
But
I don't think they will.
like your chances of winning it, but they could make the playoffs. And
Absolutely.
It would shock me at least.
They could be the second best team in this division, and it won't shock me all that much. Because things are in flux to a point with some of the other teams in the division. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Very stable franchise.
Yeah, it's the stablest of all the franchises. I'd say for one that's way up at the top. Number 7.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Ownership.
You rank
tanked
the owner.
it.
You rank the owner. I think that's low, personally.
Okay.
I know Paul Brown had many years of. Wait, he did what? The daughter is handling a lot of this now. It may even be the daughter-in-law, and it definitely shows. Taking care of guys. The Burrow thing would worry me way more 15 years ago with this team, a la what happened with Carson Palmer, than it does now. I'm not worried about it. You put him at 28. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you I had him at 5.
Right.
But I think that's too low. I would have been somewhere like middle of the league.
Okay.
And that would have pushed them all the way up to 4, I think.
Yeah.
I think if I had ranked the ownership, they would have been 4 or 5. I don't remember which one. But I mean, I get it. You're a little older than me. You got a whole lot of years of remembering what the Bengals were.
Mm-hmm.
But to have it having him behind Shad Khan makes no sense to me. Because he is a yard barker, and that irks me. That made one good hire.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like the Brown family. I keep saying that one individual. I feel like the Brown family is really changing the perception of this organization. It all stems from Joe.
Okay. Sure. I can see that, but I have way too much history to rely on of this just being a dumpster fire franchise and never making the right move to make you legitimate contenders.
That's why I handed ownership to you.
I mean,
you have a much deeper depth of knowledge than I do.
I remember those great years of Marvin Lewis where this team was a playoff contender every year, and then they never could win a playoff game. They could win 13 games in a regular season and never win a playoff game. It was just one thing that was missing, and maybe they've figured it out. Maybe now they have the perfect solution to finally getting over the hump and winning that elusive Super Bowl that they have been seeking. But this is still an excellent team. They are going to be at the top of the league, and they will vie for another Super Bowl.
The other thing that gets them is Zach Taylor. Yes, we're much higher on him now than we were before because we had him at 32, I think, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, I mean, I don't see him as an elite coach. I think he's a fine. He's good. But that roster 1 to 53 is absolutely special.
Number 6.
The San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback. That's
if you got if you got more than one quarterback, you don't have one.
If you got 2, you sure as the world don't have one.
Well, they have 3.
Yeah, they have one. They just refuse to do the smart thing and hand him the job. And his name is Samuel Alexander Darnold the Fourth, Esquire.
If Sam Darnold had a shot at starting for this team, we would know it by now.
He does. If you look at the betting markets, it tells you that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. 8th most likely player to win comeback player of the year. 4 of them had catastrophic injuries in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Just telling you. I can't tell you he's going to be
the
starter.
higher or lower than Trey Lance on that comeback player?
Trey Lance behind him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of shocks me.
I'm just telling you. I'm not. I don't in any way claim to be the smartest man on the planet, but I'm going to tell you this. You're in a division with Sean McVay and Pete Carroll and Jonathan Gannon, who's a really good defensive coach. I saw the limitations of Brock Purdy on film. I promise you they did too.
Mm-hmm.
They did. It's another very stable organization. I am not as high on Kyle Shanahan as you are. We argued about him for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, I think
I finally resolved the 8 was fine.
I think he's a very good coach. He's just never won the big one. And there are a lot of things that you could point to and go, well, X was the reason why. Jimmy Garoppolo missing the pass in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady and the ultimate collapse of Dan Quinn's defense in Atlanta. I think he's just caught a bad break with injuries and things.
Weird. It's weird how a guy catches that many bad breaks. He's the exact opposite of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. And at some point it's going to change, and San Francisco will hoist that Lombardi trophy.
Kyle Shanahan, luck like that. I don't even know how you get that unlucky. Fall in a bucket of lollipops and come out sucking your thumb. That's weird how that. It's weird how that works.
Mm-hmm. How many coaches could you make the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers and win a Super Bowl?
Off the top of my head?
Yeah.
About 7.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in front of Kyle Shanahan. If all of those coaches,
and a couple behind him, actually.
Oh,
because we had Bill ranked one spot behind him, and frankly, I look at Bill Belichick and go, you would have won one eventually.
Interesting. I'm a believer. I guess I will always be a believer.
Well, to me, the thing about Kyle Shanahan is he's one of those people that I think he thinks he's smarter than he is. And now he's getting to the point where he's outsmarting himself.
That's quite possible.
Like, you're trying to do all of these things, and I get why you're doing it. Just find what you're good at and do that. And for the love of God, find a new medical team. Like,
yeah, something ain't right there.
They're hurt every single year.
Yes, they are. At number 5, it's the Seattle Seahawks.
And that may seem high, but man, that's another stable franchise. Weird how all of the stable franchises are coming off the board right here.
Remember when we thought that this was a tank job? They were bringing in Geno Smith because they know they're bad and they want to have top pick in the next draft and blah, 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 blah. Man, that's dumb, wasn't it? I mean, because this team came out last year and it was just a complete, rebirth. They were as good as they were when Russell Wilson was in town. And you got to give them credit for that. They drafted incredibly well over the last couple of years.
Well, I mean, this is what I was talking about with Arizona. All right, they fleeced the Denver Broncos on Russell Wilson. They completely remade the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from top to bottom, it's really hard to find a deficiency on this team. And now they're really deep. And everybody keeps coming to Geno Smith going, but Geno Smith. Look, I watched those Jet years with Geno Smith. I don't think Joe Montana could have won with that Jets team. He was put in a horrible situation with a coach that did not like him and did not want him. Then he bounced around the league, gets here. And I'm not sure Pete Carroll couldn't win with anybody in that system.
Mm-hmm.
And Geno Smith constitutes as anybody.
Yep.
Last year, he was incredibly solid. And if his name was Geno Johnson, you wouldn't hold it against him what he did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He would be, hey, that kid's pretty good.
This team is pretty stacked. And I think that they are going to be they'll be a threat in the NFC. They're my 3, I think, in the NFC as a whole. They're your 2. You have them above San Francisco, and I think they're behind San Francisco. So we both got the message. I hope the rest of the NFC got the message as well. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish it out with the top 4 in the state of the NFL Power Rankings.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays, 240 westbound between Shuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 on the eastbound side, slow between Amboy Road and exit 4A. 40 westbound, Haywood County, stop and go between Fines Creek Road and Harmondin Road. 40 westbound then closed between Harmondin Road and the North Carolina-Tennessee state line due to a tractor-trailer fire. Future, 26 westbound, slow between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 26 eastbound, crawling between Brevard Road and Long Shoals Road. An accident at mile marker 37 has the left lane blocked. An accident, Tunnel Road eastbound at Robert Clayton Drive, causing heavy delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free. and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Listen to Comeback Stories. I'm Darren Waller. You might know me as a tight end for the New York Giants, or some of you might know me from my story of struggling with and beating addiction to become a Pro Bowl tight end. With me, I have my friend and co-host, Donnie Starkins, who is a yoga instructor and a personal development coach, a man fully invested in seeing people reach their fullest potential. Catch us every week on Comeback Stories on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Evelyn Charity's St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's ESPN Asheville. Back live in the Ingles Studio. The top 4 of today's power rankings. It is the state of all 32 NFL teams. Number 4.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
It was asked in the YouTube comments by Bill Booty Cheeks. He says, which team...
He changed his name.
Yeah, I love it. Which team tricks their fans the most? Is it the Bills or the 49ers?
Both. C, all of the above.
My answer would be the Bills. But, I mean, I get it. Hey, at least San Francisco has been to a Super Bowl.
And lost.
So?
Yeah, their last Super Bowl win, I was 7 years old. Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just making the math.
And how old were you the last time the Buffalo Bills won a Super Bowl?
Well, here's the thing. As a 37-year-old man, any answer that is single digits has been long enough that I don't. We're splitting hairs now. All right, it's been somebody that can vote. It's almost somebody that can run for president. So 35 years, 65 years. Really that big a difference?
Mm-hmm. The Bills come in at number 3 in the quarterback scale.
Yes, because that Josh Allen deal is going to age quite nicely.
They come in at number 4 on the front office scale.
The big detriment with Buffalo still falls into O.P. Taylor's brother. Mm-hmm. I don't buy Sean McDermott, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I'm ever going to.
Top 10 in ownership. Pagula with the new stadium deal that they've got going there, and that's going to be phenomenal when that gets open.
They've drafted well. You got high marks on everything.
Yep, except
I don't love Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm. It always comes back. Is Opie Taylor a good
Opie Taylor's brother,
or Opie Taylor's brother? Excuse me.
He actually has more hair than Ron Howard, but just fractionally. And only a little bit less than you.
Yeah. But he's way more attractive than Clint Howard. There's no doubt about that.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Anyway,
he looks like he's imitating Sling Blade and all that.
Question is, can the Buffalo Bills get it done this year? And I guess this year's as good as any.
I probably like Buffalo less now than I have in the last 5 years, so this would be a great time for you to win one.
Number 3.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
It's the best drafting team in the league.
Yeah, and it doesn't change.
No, Eric DeCosta, Ozzie Newsome, doesn't matter.
Harbaugh's
Brian
an elite
Billick,
coach.
John Harbaugh, weird. Quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson, Trent Dilfer, just lather, rinse, repeat. You keep doing this. Are they the third best team in the NFL?
Healthy.
No, they're the third best franchise in the NFL.
Yes. And if they can stay healthy, they got a shot, but they've had a shot every year.
Yeah, there's like a Harbaugh curse or something. Jim was in San Francisco, John's in Baltimore, and
they had to face each other.
Happen every single.
I was going to say they had to face each other.
The lights went out in that Super Bowl, and I'm telling you, like a curse was put upon both of them. You'll never be healthy again.
Baltimore Ravens at number 3. At number 2, it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
I felt like this should be pretty. 1 and 2 here should have been pretty obvious.
Yeah, the total score for the number 2 team, the Philadelphia Eagles, amongst all of them,
is 22.
22.
Half of that is your coach.
Mm-hmm. Because Nick Sirianni, is he great or is his team great?
I think he's good, and the team is really talented. And Howie Roseman does a phenomenal job of putting a front office or putting a team together. He's number 1 in front office.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Lurie's really high in ownership, and Jalen Hurts is really high among quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. I don't see another team standing in their way in their division, and I really
Dallas stands in their way.
I really
Dallas
don't know how close they are. Or I don't know how close anybody else is to them overall in the NFC. To me.
I've long said this. It's Philly's at the top.
Yep.
You got Dallas, Seattle, San Francisco in some order. Detroit pretty much by themselves, and then you get into the New Orleans, the Carolina, Minnesota, Chicago. I don't know what order they're going to finish in, but I feel pretty solid that's the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And top 4 because I could see it past Chicago wins the North.
Here's the thing. I believe if they don't make a return trip to the Super Bowl this season, will be looked at as a failure.
Because it gets way harder down the line.
And I don't know if that's fair.
All of these things are cyclical.
Yeah.
And look, you remember back in the day where the NBA All-Star Game, you just look at things and go, my God, how are this many talented players in one conference? 4 years later, and now we're here.
Mm-hmm.
That's how sports works.
Eat and Sleep Football asks, is he the only one that is concerned that Philly lost both of their coordinators? No.
Nope. It scares me to death. But that roster is too talented for it to be that huge of a difference.
Right. Doesn't scare me at all.
And you get 17 weeks to figure it out.
Right.
So.
And then number 1, we all know.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Nope.
The highest number they had in this entire thing. Owner, front office, coach, quarterback, overall roster. Was overall roster, and they're 4. Their final score was 11. There are 8 teams that didn't have higher than an 11.
Right.
Everything was lower than that. Kansas City they're the model franchise. They're the modern day New England Patriots. They're going to be a pain every single year. It doesn't matter who comes. It doesn't matter who goes, as long as Andy Reid is the one calling the plays and Pat Mahomes is the one executing them.
Yes.
That's just the way it is.
It is.
This is Bill and Brady all over again. It's just much flashier than it was back then.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We will not be with you tomorrow. Jeremy and his dad are going to go hang out down at Panther Training Camp, see the New York Jets come into town for the joint practices. Again, I will be at the doctor with my wife. We would appreciate any thoughts and prayers on good outcomes for that visit at the doctor. We will be back with you for the Fantasy Football Quarter Marathon on Thursday, only on the YouTube stream because Braves Baseball will be here on ESPN, noon until 6, only on YouTube. We will see you Thursday.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Very different weather picture tonight. Just a stray storm in the mountains tonight, not the widespread heavy downpours and active weather that we had last night. 62 degrees in the valley tonight, even some 50s with higher elevations tonight. A little taste of fall tonight with lower humidity. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 85 degrees. Stray thunderstorms on Thursday, high near 80 degrees. Partly cloudy Friday, 85. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 eastbound between Amboy Road and exit 4A. Future 26 westbound slow between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 26 eastbound crawling between Bavard Road and Long Shoals Road due to an accident at mile marker 37, the left lane blocked. 26 eastbound slow between the South Carolina and North Carolina state line and SC 14. 40 westbound light delays in Haywood County between Vines Creek Road and Harmon-Den Road. 40 westbound then closed between Harmon-Den Road and the North Carolina-Tennessee state line due to a tractor-trailer fire. An accident, heavy delays, Tunnel Road eastbound at Robert Clayton Drive. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF to help connect schools to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get deals on top tech powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.